And good morning. Happy Father's Day. The weather here, if people are getting together for events, barbecues, the weather here is another rainy, drizzly day here. But I don't think that's going to deter people from still doing things, obviously, today. But there's so much coming in on Telegram. You have no idea of what's going on in the Middle East. It just doesn't stop. Back and forth. On both sides, civilians, those who suffer, obviously. I don't think that's undeniable. But I will say this. Israel is giving Iran a whooping. They're taking out their infrastructure. They're hitting their command centers, people in command. It's almost looking like a larger version of Lebanon. While meanwhile, the desperate missile launches of Iran are just scattered all over the place and just targeting whatever they could hit. That's the difference. But I look at the stuff that comes from both sides because that's the way I am. You wouldn't believe. And Trump is still saying Iran and Israel should make a deal because he promised that he wouldn't get the United States into another war. But then there's also, what about the U.S. being the defender of Israel throughout the decades of policy? Are we just going to allow Israel to be decimated by missile attacks and just stand by and do nothing? Oh, no, but we're intercepting some missiles. Because the word is Netanyahu asked him to get involved, and he said no. He's trying to push this peace deal. Iran's not going to the table now. What do you think? They're just going to fold? Are you kidding? Who is advising President Trump? Who? People that are qualified or not so much qualified? Who's giving him the advice? This is kind of getting a little concerning right now. What's it going to take? This is coming from an Israeli telegram. Trump, Iran and Israel should make a deal, and they will make a deal, just like I made India and Pakistan do. You didn't make India and Pakistan do anything. You didn't make Russia or Ukraine do anything. You've done nothing. You're all talk. You've done nothing. What the heck is going on here? Like I made them do. He used to criticize Biden for saying, oh, they didn't even tell the United States. Well, Israel is doing anything they want without caring what the hell you think, because they're going to just do it because they know you don't want to do anything. This is getting a little crazy now. Tehran is flooded. Iranian sources report that Tehran's main water line has been damaged due to Israeli attacks. Now, they hit one of the largest gas fields in the world. Israel did yesterday. They're hitting their infrastructure. They're taking out their assets. They're doing precise targeting. And they said yesterday that the Ayatollah is not off limits. They're not playing. They are not playing. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the propaganda coming from the other side saying this, that, this. And, they showed people celebrating in the streets after what happened last night. And I'm sure that happens on both sides, to be fair. But my gosh, Tel Aviv got hit numerous times. When is the line where the United States has to do something to defend Israel? It's not a matter of intercepting missiles, but actually defending Israel. That's been U.S. policy since the creation of Israel. Now, of course, the other side will say, well, they're occupiers, because Iran has never identified them as a state, Israel as a state. They're the regime, the Zionist regime. They're occupiers. They're settlers. So they will never recognize that. So, I mean, the only way that this, I think, is going to end, and I hate to say it, but I think Israel has to topple the regime and just decimate the IRGC, the Revolutionary Guard Corps. They're going to have to try to have the people revolt and a revolution and a coup in Iran. I don't see any other way. There's not going to be nobody talking. He's delusional. Trump is delusional if he thinks that Iran and Israel is going to come to the table, unless the two sides just surprisingly de-escalate, which a lot of people are predicting that they will do. The way this is going, the back and forth, tit for tat, and it's just escalating, I pray that it de-escalates and somehow Iran agrees to do zero enrichment. Zero. None. You think they really want to do that? You think they want to, because they always were trying to portray themselves as this powerful, almighty nation. Do you think they're going to kneel and beg to have now some kind of a truce and negotiation with Israel? Who's dealing with reality here? Who's dealing with reality? It has nothing to do with that. It's because the policy is, I will not start any new wars. That's why he's doing what he's doing. Has nothing to do with Israel, has nothing to do with Ukraine, has nothing to do with anything. His policy and his supporters are like, you better not start a war, because you said you weren't. That is the reality of the situation. People may not like that assessment. They might not agree with that assessment, but that's probably the likelihood of what the hell is going on right now. Because obviously, do I want to see us get involved in a war? No. But there's also the principles, the moral principles and obligations of the United States defending Israel as their policy. So there's a contradiction here. And I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know what. No idea. But it is kind of, it's going to be something to watch. What's up, Mike? It's going to be something to watch. When are we waiting for them to hit a base or something like that to give us a reason? Probably that's what they're looking for. They're looking for us to be targeted, hit a U.S. base or a ship or personnel or something and say, okay, now we're in. Give us a reason. We can't be blamed. There's also another angle. There's so many angles to look at this. They don't want to awaken anything to happen into this country. Because as you hear a lot of the stuff that's out there, there are so many cells that have crossed the border and are just waiting to strike at the heart of the country. You hear that so much. So there's a lot of things to look at here. There's a lot of ways to look at here. But right now, I mean, I'm getting these alerts coming on through Telegram from a lot of Israeli sources, and it's still going on. And one from the other side, because I like to see what the other side says. And they're just coming in. Every time the phone goes off, that's Telegram. And this is what Steve uses, and Steve has done a tremendous job covering this, of Agenda Free TV. That's what I've been watching, Agenda Free TV. He gets a little overexcited on stuff. Breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. Oh, look at that, look at that, look at that. He gets a little overexcited. Calm down. Chill. Slow down on the coffee. Like, I drink a lot of coffee, but slow down. This is what the IDF is saying. In the past hour, several missiles were launched from Iran toward the state of Israel. Most of them were intercepted. No reports of fallen projectiles were received. We request that the public continue to follow the instructions of the Home Front Command. That just came out now. Another one shows what's going on in Tehran. And it shows massive flooding. Videos coming in. Tehran is flooded. Iranian sources report that Tehran's main water line has been damaged due to Israeli attacks. I can't show the video because I'll get in trouble. Now the other side is saying, and you don't even know how crazy they've been talking. You can only imagine. Okay, I'm just going to read the last few coming from the other side. I'm not going to say the source. It has been confirmed that the most recent wave of Israeli attacks in Tehran was carried out with 5 planted explosives and car bombs. Well, that tells me the Mossad is doing their thing inside using Iranians that are getting paid, but they're also doing it for Israel, for the Mossad. That's what happened on the opening barrage with the drones. And supposedly, allegedly, Iran arrested like 16 people. Okay, he's coming out with more. Here's another one. And they're spreading this propaganda in Iran. President Trump, the same thing I just read. They're putting it in their thing. Israel and Iran should make a peace deal. We will soon have peace between Iran and Israel. Many calls currently taking place. Make the Middle East great again. This is Trump's. This is Trump's. This is what he's putting out there. The damage from Iranian attacks during last night amounts to 1 billion shekels, equivalent to 277 million. But this is the other side. Well, what is it costing what is the cost in Iran taking out your nuclear sites, your gas fields, your infrastructure? What is it costing to you? See, they put the one side, what it's costing Israel. What is it costing Iran right now? It's costing a hell of a lot more. But they won't mention that. And they don't show videos coming out of Iran, only what's coming out of Israel. The Israeli government expects 12,000 compensation claims from the attacks in just these 2 nights. Who gives a shit? What are you so worried about that? To say that there were so many people injured and killed? Is that your point? What's compensation in Iran? Do they get compensation in Iran? Or no? What about that? Such bullshit. The IDF made a statement warning Iran of new attacks. This is very recent. A new wave of powerful strikes on Iranian targets is expected soon, and that was literally 2 minutes ago. So this is the back and forth. So do you think they're willing to, like some delusional person in our country thinks they're just going to sit down and make peace now? Really? Give me wishful thinking. They don't give a shit what you're saying. It's unbelievable how stupid. Oh my God, there has to be an age limit on presidency. There just has to be. There has to be I swear there has to be an age limit. There has to be an age limit. 70 tops. This 78, 80 nonsense has to stop. Just my opinion. It has to stop. Because it's starting to be more incompetent. The pattern. There's a pattern here. Biden was criticized with the pattern of, and the pattern continues. Let's be honest. What the hell? I hope people wake up. Because this shit can't just continue because you're a supporter of that side or this side. You got to deal with reality. And the reality is, this is a shit show. Oh my God. What's it going to take? Israeli skyscrapers to fall before the United States gets involved? What's it going to take? And I'm saying that because that's U.S. policy to defend Israel. We are their number one defender. Where is the allies of Israel right now? Doing what? Intercepting a few missiles while still missiles are hitting Tel Aviv and other places? Is that? I can't imagine. I just don't understand it. Because
Here's
of,
your New York
Alexa, stop.
update for June.
Because of the declaration, I will not start any new wars. Well, sometimes you don't have a choice. Sometimes you don't have a choice. You have to take action. And I'm going to tell you this right now. Taiwan, they talked about Taiwan under Biden.
It's currently
Alexa,
62
stop.
degrees.
They talked about Taiwan under Biden. The way he doesn't want to start a war, Taiwan might be vulnerable because China's going to say, oh, look, he's not even helping Israel. We could just walk into Taiwan. He doesn't want to start no wars, so he's just going to let us walk right in. They used to talk about Biden. This is worse. This is worse because he's showing he won't do nothing. That's a bad signal to our enemies, our adversaries. Oh, Israel, they're supposed to be the biggest defenders of Israel, and he's letting missiles hit Tel Aviv. Maybe he won't do nothing if we move into Taiwan. He doesn't want to start a war. What's he going to do? What will he do? Would he do anything? That's a bad precedent. People may not realize it that way. This is not good. And it's funny how they used to talk about Biden. It never happened. It might happen under Trump because of what's going on now. And I don't want to hear excuses from the right at all. Because that's why I always say you have to be objective. You have to look at things on both sides and be fair. Well, what the hell are you saying now? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're doing nothing. You're silent. It's crickets. And that's why I can't get into, that's why I became an independent, because I can't stand the nonsense on both sides. I just can't. The hypocrisy is so thick. It is so ridiculous. Meanwhile, this continues. Okay, here's another one from the other side. Not Israel's side. When I say the other side, it's the other side. The Iranian Attorney General's office has issued an official warning that anyone collaborating with the Israeli regime in any way will only be sentenced to death. They're talking about the people that are in Iran collaborating with the Mossad and doing these car bombs. That's what this is going out to, not to countries. There will be no prison terms, not even life sentences, only hanging or execution. So what does that tell you? That they are really concerned about a revolt because people within Iran are working for the Mossad. Do you remember a couple of weeks ago, Iran said, we got a coup of intelligence from our people inside Israel. We know where their nuclear stuff is. Well, what the hell? See, Iran has always been known for their rhetoric and bluster. Well, guess what? Uh-oh, you just got caught with your proverbial pants down because you're getting, you know what? You're getting your butt handed to you badly. Badly. You have no idea. I've been keeping track of this, like all the things that have been going on with the gas fields, the oil fields. I mean, the nuclear plants, taking out command centers, people in command. They lost like 20 people at the top of the chain of the IRC, of the this, that. I'm like, oh my God, they're taking out their, just like they did in their pattern with the other countries. Lebanon and Hamas and the Houthis, possibly second in command, got. And the Ayatollah has to be hiding or fled the country. I don't know. But Israel's showing how it's done. Now, you got to remember, this could not have been done if Hezbollah wasn't weakened the way they are, decimated. All the proxies have been weakened severely, leaving Iran super vulnerable. And Iran was like, we can defend ourselves. We could put our missiles and shit all over the country in the mountains. See, that might have been a mistake because that makes the targeting easier instead of civilian areas that is known that what the others do. They put it in hospitals and schools and mosques. Well, Iran is like, we don't have to worry about that. We have a whole big country. We could put them anywhere. And you don't think Israel has the intelligence and surveying equipment, surveillance to know exactly where you have them hidden in the middle of nowhere? What a mistake. They are screwed. Iran, if this goes on, Iran's falling. Their regime is going to fall. I could see it. I could see that happening. I could see the Iranian regime falling without the help of the United States, by the way. Here's more coming from the other side. Pakistan, China, and Russia are helping Iran transport air cargo, including missiles. Isn't that lovely? This is what the other side's saying. That Pakistan, China, and Russia are helping them. Well, at least they're getting help from somebody. Where's Iran? Israel's getting help from who? Now, we do supply Israel with all their weaponry and military support, planes. They're using their 35s, trained by us to fly and do what they're doing. So, yeah. Okay, let's see what this is saying. Venice in Tehran. Wow, Tehran is underwater. Oh my God. Maybe I could show this. I don't know. I'm on YouTube. This is Tehran. Major flooding. Infrastructure. Tehran is underwater. See, that's what Israel's doing. There will be no power, water supply. They're hitting their infrastructure. They hit the gas field. And you know what was the craziest thing? The Iranian government stated, we have it under complete control. Did you see the videos of their plant on fire? It was massive. People thought it was an earthquake. Because there's a person that's on YouTube, Tusi TV. He's Persian. I believe he lives in the UK. And the Iranians can't stand him. His father's still there. Tusi TV, Tousi TV. I've been watching him. Wow. This guy's on it. I mean, I love when people are just straightforward, no nonsense, no bullshit. Not like the media portray stuff. Our media, whether you watch Fox or CNN, you know, they just shoot it straight. They're just giving to you what's going on the ground in both places without putting all that political shit involved. They're just telling you what's going on. And I'm telling you, every time he goes live, I'm out of here. I'm watching him. Tusi TV. He's Persian. He's Iranian. And he's telling you. And he showed people he showed, because he's getting images coming and video come from Iran, from friends he knows. And go Israel. The people in Iran want the regime to fall. A lot of them do, but they're just too scared to say it. You know, they obviously would get persecuted, locked up and disappear or killed. But the people, the young people, are tired of this regime bullshit. They want change. And I'm telling you, if Israel keeps doing what they're doing, and maybe, because if you have to think about it, who is the main instigator of not recognizing Israel as a state? It's Iran. And then Iran hands it to the proxies. Because they're the ones. I think Saudi Arabia would definitely make peace, like a treaty. Egypt has. Jordan, a lot of those other Arab countries, but we're talking about a Persian country. But I think the stability could be created. If Iran were to fall and become a democratic state again, I think peace could come to the Middle East. Now, Gaza is a different story because I'm hearing about attacking civilian locations, but what has Israel done in Gaza attacking civilian locations with Hamas embedded? There is no civilian locations left in Gaza. It's all rubble. So when I hear that, oh, they're attacking civilian locations in Israel, well, what are you doing in Gaza? Let's be fair. There is no civilian locations in Gaza because it's completely destroyed. You're doing the same thing you did in Gaza and Lebanon, taking out their infrastructure, no water, no food, no gas, no oil, no power, nothing. You're doing the same strategy, and you did it in Lebanon, in Beirut, and now you're doing it in Iran. But when you go on and you say, we will not stand for our civilian locations to be targeted, they will pay a heavy price. Well, what the hell are you doing in Gaza? Because Hamas is embedded? So you're just leveling the whole place. Those are civilians. You're leveling the entire area with civilian locations. So I don't know about this hypocrisy with a statement like that, to be honest. I'm not with that. Not with it. Not with it. Because you're doing that in Gaza. To be fair. Because that's the thing. Honesty's a bitch. Political spin and propaganda and conspiracy just twists and confuses and manipulates people. That's what it's meant to do. And people fall for it. It's like they're, I don't know, it's like hypnotized by it, or is there some kind of a thing going on where it's subliminal or something that people are just, we have to have that objectiveness. Without objectivity, you are done. Done. But it's not about that. It's just rah, rah, rah. All this stuff that goes on with no kings. Rah, 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 rah. Army parades. Rah, rah, rah. It's so people are just so stuck in what the hell they're focused on. And that's the point, is to keep them focused on things. So they don't look at things objectively. They're just so focused on what he does or what they're doing or what. It's like, people wake up. Look what's really going. Look at the madness that's going around in the 21st century at this time. The craziness that's going on all over the world. Is this acceptable to you? Are you happy with this? Is this entertainment for you? I mean, what the F is going on? Do you enjoy this? Do you enjoy seeing citizens of the United States engaging with the National Guard or Marines? And it's fun? Because it's the other side? Fellow Americans? Yes? I mean, what look what happened in Minnesota yesterday. Where are the people in power, Republicans, denouncing what happened in Minnesota yesterday? But you know what? They'll find a way to twist it. And it's a conspiracy. Deep State did it. It wasn't really. They'll find another way to throw this. No. What happened was disgusting and deplorable and heinous. And this sets a bad precedent. You have to call it out now and denounce it. Everyone needs to denounce violence. No matter what kind of violence it is. Violence is not acceptable. Of any kind. Whether it happens to Democratic lawmakers in Minnesota or to whatever. It's not acceptable. Violence is not acceptable. People that are doing protests and turn into doing violence against police officers or destroying property, criminals, arrested. But people have to speak out and say, this is not acceptable. Not on one side, when one thing happens, they say it. All of them should be saying it together. This is not acceptable. But what they do is they pick and choose what they say publicly is acceptable. That's bullshit. Now, I don't know what the hell's going on, but it's a major concern. It is a major concern. And like I said, if you're going to denounce something, denounce it across the board. Just don't pick and choose what you want to denounce. What's wrong is wrong, regardless of what your side you're on. What's wrong is wrong. My God. What's wrong? Like I said, and let's be clear, there was no crazy rioting going on in LA before the National Guard got there. This wasn't what happened after Floyd. This was instigation to make it where we'll set it up so that it does flare up. So we can get this on tape and we can show the world that there's riots going on in LA. This was a setup. This was a fucking setup. Because the LA police department and other police departments in the area have a coordinated effort in the event that they need to. They all come together because people are saying, well, the LAPD can't do this alone. No, they weren't going to do it alone. They agree with the other places around them to come together in the event of, no, this was bullshit. This was staged. This was set up to make it look like it was a big fucking riot. And then you see all the people throwing rocks and stuff. Well, you brought in the National Guard. You're bringing in the Marines. What the fuck? You know, it's crazy because they used to say under Obama that he's going to bring in the National Guard. There's going to be martial law, all this rhetoric. They used to say, well, where's your rhetoric now about what's going on in the United States now under Trump? The hypocrisy is sick. Watch out, they're going to bring in the National Guard. FEMA camps are going to pop up. FEMA camps are going to pop up all over across the United States. They're going to impose martial law. They're going to take over. They're going to bring in the National Guard. What the fuck is going on now? Give me a break. Hypocrisy's a bitch. And it's all for political gain. Think about it. And like you give a shit about protecting the citizens of California, which you can't stand that state. Give me a break. I'm going to go save LA. I'm going to save California. The guy who can't stand California, or their governor, is going to come in as the savior. Oh, give me, if people are buying that, give me a break. You need to wake up immediately. Because that's the biggest bunch of bullshit I've ever heard in my life, and I'm laughing at it. I'm like, you really believe this shit? Really? See what happens when California, God forbid, has a natural disaster. See how fast he helps them there. Oh, I'm not going to be the savior for that one. I'll be the savior for this. But when millions of people are suffering, I don't want nothing to do with it. Because I'm not giving them a dime. How about that? You don't think that's going to happen? That's when you know. That's when you know the bullshit. And people need to call out on that bullshit. But this is the times we're living in. And I'm just looking, like I said, I'm looking at this objectively. Like, right away, there was a threat. Do you know that California is the 4th largest economy? Do you know what would happen if they withdrew their federal put into the pot money, like New York and some of these other big blue states? Federal government would collapse with the money that they get collecting from these states. A lot of other states take from the Fed. Texas, Florida, there's maybe a couple others. I think there's maybe one other. Red state puts into the pot. The rest take. A lot of the powerful blue states economically put into the pot. What if they were to say, fuck you, we're not giving you another dime to the federal government? And then right away you hear the words, oh, they're trying to secede from the United States. Well, Texas talked about that, right? It is craziness. We're living in crazy times. Look what's going on in the Middle East. And the war was supposed to be over in Ukraine. What happened? What happened to the peace talks? Oh, it's like two kids playing in a school ground. This ain't no fucking kids playing in a school ground. People are dying. Like they have a spat in a schoolyard. Are you kidding me? You're comparing what's going on in Ukraine and Russia to two kids scrambling in a fucking playground? Are you kidding me? I mean, really, what the hell? And people think, I don't know if there's the entertainment part of this. People think it's funny. People think it's funny. It's entertaining. They laugh. This is not funny. What's it going to take when people are like, I think we've become so dumbed down and numbed out that anything's acceptable now. We've reached such a low point that everything's acceptable that goes on. I honestly believe that. And you know how hard it's going to be to get back to a moral principle? Do you know how hard it's going to be to dig out of this? I don't know if we ever will as a country. Obviously, I'm not on TikTok. I mean, think about it. People really need to think about it. Remove the leftist, right, political opinion you might have. And yes, that's important because we all have those core values. A conservative point of view or a liberal point of view. That's fine. With respect and dignity and compromise and communication and back and forth dialogue. But this is nuts. Sit back and just look at things of what face value, what the hell is going on. Think as an individual for yourself without the noise. Sit there and think if everything that's going on right now is acceptable to you. If this is okay. Can you honestly look in the mirror and say, I'm okay with this? I'm okay with this. I'm not okay with this. I am not okay with this. That's just my opinion. I am not okay with all what's going on. And people really, really, really got to be objective. I don't know. Maybe I'm overreacting. I don't think I am. But like I said, I pray. And I pray for peace. And who suffers in war and these skirmishes and whatever you want to call them, the innocent people of the country suffer. Because they're, like in Iran, they're oppressed. They're under a regime with a mighty, well, I don't know about mighty, with an intimidating military branch. And the people, if they protest and go on the street, they're quickly taken care of, and who knows how, imprisoned or worse. So it's hard for them to speak out against their government. You can't even call that a government, but theocracy. So you know that innocent people are dying, sadly, all over the place, on both sides. Civilians, the ones that are not in control of what the government does, the actions the government takes, they just sit back and say, what is going on? They work, they have families, they're just trying to make lives for themselves and their children, just like anybody else. They're innocent. They're not guilty. And I think that we fail to see the separation between what we would call a terrorist organization and innocent civilians that have nothing to do with it. Did you see what happened with the food? Hamas was killing Palestinians trying to get access to the food. Well, that's the hell they live under. People say, well, why ain't the Palestinians doing anything about Hamas? Because they'll kill them from within. It's so easy for people to say things from the outside, but not realize what the heck is going on there. And to get fair coverage of what's going inside somewhere is the question. Not with a political spin, but what's really going on. What they should do is they should take, and I've been saying this, aerial, and it can't be that hard, do an aerial view of Gaza. And I mean the entire Gaza Strip. And you'll see, and I've seen it on other places, but I can't share it. You'll see that the place looks completely destroyed. And there are 2 million people that live there. No food, no medicine, no water, no power. And, people say, oh, you support this organization. No, it has nothing to do with that. They're trying to twist that and make it like if you support the Palestinians, you support Hamas. No. No. Let's be clear. There's two separate things going on here. Innocent people are getting slaughtered and killed and starved and dying from lack of care, medical care in Gaza because of what Israel's doing in Gaza. Let's be clear. It has nothing to do with Hamas. It has to do with the innocent people there. I don't see nobody crying out about that. And that's why people protest and do what they do. They have the right under the First Amendment to do that. But right away, they must be Hamas supporters. No. Wrong. Now, in any case, you might have people that are tied to an organization and doing things here to help promote that, or they're being funded for. We do it in other countries too. Well, we're innocent of that? We don't do that? We don't have people out there influencing other things that goes on in other countries? Let's be honest now. Let's be real. We do.
Is Tycho here?
No, he's not, Ma.
Where is he?
I don't know. The same thing happens that we do to other
I
countries.
all the time.
This is unbelievable with her, with the dog.
That's
This
right.
happens every morning.
I told you to be careful
I
of
already
what you
told
act
you.
in.
All right. I already told you he was under your bed. Okay.
Well,
Okay.
you gotta go and see because you always do this.
I don't do anything.
Just calm down with your temper. I don't wanna live this way. And talking, okay?
He's under
Talking
your bed.
about Tycho.
I know. He's
taking
under your
care
bed.
of it.
He's under your bed.
I don't need to.
Close the door. And shut the coffee off if it's not off already.
Oh, I don't know.
Let me shut it.
I will put my hot cookie back.
That's almost like saying, does the United States have spies in other countries? Do our allies have spies in our country? Of course they do. Everybody spies on each other. Even our closest allies have spies here. Everybody does it. Influence. It's not new. So when I hear that, oh, they must, yeah, they do. They definitely do. And where's the money coming from? And the typical answer would be from the right. It's Bezos. It's coming from our adversaries. It's coming from them. They're the ones that are funding this. China, Iran, North Korea, Russia, all the typical names that you hear about. They're the ones that have a major influence, let's just say, in South America. I mean, let's be serious. We're so busy blaming each other because of right, left in our country, but we're not identifying the real enemy here. Because they're like, listen, if we plant these seeds, they'll just attack each other. They'll destroy themselves. And I've been saying this for a few years now. This is not new. I don't know if people are finally getting to the point where they understand all this, but the seeds are planted here so that we can destroy each other, hate each other, undermine each other, destroy the fabrics of democracy. They don't have to do a thing. They just got to plant the seeds, and we'll do it ourselves. And we're doing it. We're doing a good job of it, too. You think these countries give a shit about our country? Our so-called allies and friends? They don't give a shit about us. They want to see us put down. They don't want to see the United States being like the strongest nation in the world, the biggest democracy. No, they don't like that. Because it undermines what they're doing. You don't think the UK would want to be recognized as the most powerful, or any other country as the most powerful superpower? They don't have a pride. They don't have, come on. But we're doing a good job ourselves of undermining our own democracy. And it's our own citizens doing it. That's the shit that just baffles me. We are doing it to ourselves. And I've said this many times. What's it going to take for people to say, okay, enough's enough. Wake up. We have to work together. Regardless of our differences, we got to work together. What's it going to take? It's incredible. What's it going to take? I mean, divided we fall. It really is as simple as that. And we are vulnerable. We are vulnerable. And I got to be honest. I went through things in my life. My brother, what happened, and I had a lack of faith at one point. But my faith has reinvigorated itself over the last few years. That's just I was raised a Catholic. And I pray. And it's also Mom, her influence with this. I pray when people are sick. I pray, especially when I find out a friend or something's going on. I pray. We light candles. And I pray for the world, for peace, for harmony and unity. And this isn't no freaking globalist agenda bullshit. It's just that there's so much anger, hate. It's bad. It's really bad. And I hope it turns. I hope we turn that corner. I hope we turn it soon. Because I'm tired of it. Oh my God. Let me see what else is going on. I did my rant. I'm done with my rant. Trump to ABC. Just a few minutes ago. We're not involved in a war right now. See what I said? See what I said? I said this 10 minutes ago. He doesn't, because he promised that he would not get the United States involved in a war. See, this is what it's about. I was right. He said it himself. Let's read the rest. So Trump to ABC, we are not involved in a war right now, but it's possible we could get involved. Oh, a little change there. A little change in the tune there, opening up the doorway. I was just talking about this 20 minutes ago. And now he goes to ABC and says this. See what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying? It just happened. I'm not seeing this from a political point. I'm seeing this objectively, and look what just happened. Dealing with the reality of the situation, the logical reality of the situation, I was able to call 15 minutes ago what he just said just now. Anybody with common sense can see what the hell is going on. That's why I say, wake up. Open your eyes. Look around you. Don't look straight. Don't be narrow-minded. Don't look at your whatever the heck you're believing in, or look objectively what's going on here. Okay, this is coming from the other side. Reports of at least 20 car bombings across Tehran, in the capital of Iran. The other side saying 20 car bombs now. So the Mossad had people planting car bombs in Tehran. Now you talk about an intelligence coup? Having people working for the Mossad doing car bombs inside of Tehran, the capital of Iran? That's major. That's freaking major. Reuters. This is all coming out now. At least 14 nuclear scientists have been eliminated so far in the mysterious cars exploding in Iran. Holy shit. They're targeting their nuclear scientists. This is what Reuters is coming out with. At least 14 nuclear scientists have been eliminated so far in mysterious cars exploding in Iran. So they planted the bombs on the cars that the scientists were getting into or traveling in, and they detonated them. What a move. That is an intelligence coup by Israel. I wish that we were capable of doing stuff like that with our intelligence agencies. The Mossad is unbelievable. They are the top notch. No offense, they are top notch. And I don't mean to say this because I'm not all about people dying and all that stuff, but war is war. And in this instance, the Mossad, oh my gosh, that is like huge. Again, now the Israelis are putting this out, what Trump said. Trump, in an interview with ABC, we are not involved at the moment, but at any moment we can intervene and help Israel eliminate the Iranian nuclear program. What did I just say? Is he listening to me? 20 minutes ago. What will it take for the United States to intervene and protect Israel after seeing Tel Aviv getting bombed, hit with missiles? The United States is supposed to be the defender of Israel. When is he going to step in? And he just said it. I just said this 25 minutes ago. Now, am I a psychic? No. It's predictable. Anybody with a brain can figure this out. I just talked about this 25 minutes ago. 25 minutes later, he just told ABC that he can intervene at any time to help defend Israel and destroy their nuclear program. Because he was hoping there was going to be a meeting today. I don't know if anybody gave him the update, but that meeting was canceled a couple of days ago. Iran said, hell no. What's the sense of having a meeting? Especially when the negotiators for that meeting were taken out by Israeli bombs, missiles, whatever. I mean, is anybody giving him, like, accurate information? Are they briefing him? Or is he watching Fox News or OAN or Newsmax for his information? This is scary. Do you know what I mean? This is like scary stuff. I was going to say another word, but I won't do that. Again, this is not rocket science. It's common sense. And now he's changing his tune. Let me read that again, because I just mentioned this a half hour ago when I started streaming, and now it comes out that he's changing his tune a little bit. Because I said, what's going on? You're supposed to defend Israel. The United States policy is to defend Israel. And bombs are hitting Tel Aviv, and nothing's happening. Quiet. We're not getting involved. Because his policy was, when he ran, no wars. No wars. And that's why I said earlier, China's looking at this and saying Taiwan is a piece of cake. We'll walk in. He doesn't want a war at any cost, so we'll just go in and take Taiwan. He won't do a thing. He's bluffing. He talks a lot. But the taco thing came out. Remember with the taco thing? And that was it. That was the people in Wall Street saying that shit. He became a joke in Wall Street. Like, we know he talks and then he changes his mind. This is all going to pass. And they talked about Biden. This is laughable. This is, I mean, if he's, you could look at this two ways. Either he's starting to suffer from old age, or if this is for real the way he thinks, then it's even more worrisome. Think about it that way. But anyway, again, Trump, and this is Israel, Israel News actually, I'm from Telegram. Trump in an interview with ABC, quote, "We are not involved at the moment, but at any moment, we can intervene and help Israel eliminate the Iranian nuclear program." So we can, but are you? Will you or won't you intervene? It's funny how somebody could sit on a chair and be like Mr. Powerful. Yeah, we can go in anytime we want. If we want to, we could end this right now. Meanwhile, Israel can you imagine? And like I said, this is not because I'm pro-Israel or whatever. This is just, can you imagine the scenario in Israel? Every time these red alerts go out throughout the whole country. Remember, Israel's the size of New Jersey. And they're living in absolute freaking fear, having to run every few hours into shelters. And now, look what happened last night in Tel Aviv. I mean, how long do you sit on your chair and wait to intervene? Now, they have been helping intercept missiles coming over, like they did the last time. But I'm not hearing that other countries are helping this time. They don't want to get involved. Everybody's staying the hell away from it. The last time, Saudi Arabia, the UK, Jordan, some other countries were helping when the drones were coming in. This time, it seems like only the US is doing that to help defend Israel from the incoming missiles. As to be expected. You would expect that. But everybody else is like, we're not touching this one. We're not getting involved in this one. Here's another one. This is coming all from Telegram, from Israeli sources, and I have many Israeli sources, and one on the other side, because I like to see both sides. And the one that I'm looking at on the other side is very prominent in talking about what the Iranian perspective is, and a lot of it is propaganda. It is so disgusting what they did last night. This other side one, putting photos of the people that were killed in Israel and celebrating it. That's how disgusting it was. Disgusting. That's not journalism. Okay, the special state of emergency, this is coming from the home front. The special state of emergency in the home front has been extended until June 30th. So they're looking at an extended exchange with Iran. It's been extended to June 30th. Today's what, the 16th? 15th? 15th. Another 2 weeks at least. State of emergency in Israel. Okay. These are just coming out. IDF. Following the situational assessment, the Home Front Command published that it is now permitted to leave protected spaces. So they're telling the people there's no threat of incoming missiles right now at the time. But here's more. They're just having images, photos. I'm not going to show that. Yeah, this is also saying the special state of Israel, the special emergency. And this is a picture of the car bombs going off in Tehran. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but there's one. And they're taking out nuclear scientists in Tehran. Car bombs. So there's a lot. Iran Military Watch on X just said God is the greatest. Of course. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. You know how that goes. And the comments are saying similar things. And I'm not trying to mock, but that's what they do. I'm looking to see if there's more. And again, happy Father's Day, because that's what today's about here. It's not even 11 a.m. So she's sharing what it was like to
I
be.
went today to the site of one of the biggest missile hits just outside of Tel Aviv. And the destruction, the level, the extent of damage, unlike anything I've ever seen before. And I make the point, you look at the way that Israel conducts itself, the IDF, when it comes to eliminating terror targets, the precision in which they strike. And this is not so that they can be cool and Hollywood heroes. It's so they can minimize civilian casualties. You look at the complete opposite when it comes to Iran in their retaliation. They don't care. They target civilians. People died at that site. It was an apartment block. Cars were upside down on top of other cars. It was unlike anything I'd ever seen, like an apocalypse almost. We're expected to have even more intense bombing tonight, which is obviously not ideal. I just heard you talking to Emily, who's doing a fantastic job. But I think I pray for everyone here in Israel. Stay close to bomb shelters, because I think it's going to be a pretty tough night for everyone.
That was someone from Australian TV that was in Israel at the time when that apartment complex was struck last night. Now, what Israel is doing is attacking their infrastructure. So that does affect civilians, let's be clear. So there is an impact on civilians. And when they're targeting, because this is what happens when they put them, like the people in command, the IRGC commanders, they'll be in an apartment complex and they're going to target that apartment complex. And unfortunately, there are civilians also in that complex. And some will just deem it as casualties of war, necessity. But it's still civilian loss. And right now, many people in Tehran are suffering. Civilians from the infrastructure attacks, because they're going to lose power. They're going to have no water. But that's meant because they want the regime in Iran to collapse. They want the people to get angry. I would not be surprised in a few days, 2 or 3 days, you're going to see a lot of protests in Iran. But that's what this is about. The people are rising up against the regime. And remember, I mentioned this earlier, they made a statement that the Ayatollah Khomeini, or Khomeini, however you want to pronounce it, is not off limits. He is a target, and he knows he's a target. And look what the Mossad is doing right now with these allegedly 20 car bombs inside of Tehran, taking out at least 14 nuclear scientists. The Mossad are everywhere. They're not there. They're agents. Iranians are there watching everything, just like they did in Yemen with the Houthis. They've got people there. And you got to think about what the intelligence factor is inside Iran or Yemen. Like, who is who? Who can we trust? Who's the spies? Who's the ones working for the Mossad? It creates a state of confusion. So, are they looking now as for a tip on where the Ayatollah is? Can you imagine they take out the Ayatollah? It's done. There's going to be civil unrest. There's going to be, who knows what happens. The IRGC is getting pummeled at their bases. They took out their largest helicopter base. They're taking out, you may not know this, but Israel's taking out a lot of military sites. Iran is getting to a point of desperation right now. And people might say, the almighty Iran. Well, the almighty Iran doesn't look almighty, does it? They look weak. They don't look too good right now, as far as offensive or defensive purposes. Israel took out, I mean, if this was another country attacking another country, they would be very pleased at the outcome and the results of the initial engagement and say, wow, this is better than we expected. I think a lot of people, they may not say it publicly, a lot of people around the world, countries are saying, holy shit, look what Israel just did to Iran. They wiped them a new, you know what. So, and it's this thing is not over. God only knows what could happen. But to this point, Israel had to expect that things like this was going to happen inside Israel with incoming missiles. What I don't want to say curious. Be interesting to see how many hypersonic missiles Iran has. Because it looked like yesterday when I was watching the coverage, they were shooting ordinary missiles, but then one came in quick. That looked like a hypersonic. I'm not sure it was, but it looked like it. Do they have more of those? Would they unleash a bunch of those at one time? So we have to be careful here. Let's see how this goes. But right now, Israel's giving them a whoop ass. That's just the way it looks. And like I said, there's so much information coming in. Iranian missile attacks damage Haifa oil refinery and Rehovot University buildings. Bazan says pipelines and transmission lines at sensitive industrial sites struck, but we're continuing. No injuries reported at Weizmann Institute hit, causing fire. Holy shit. Okay, now they're just talking like some stuff. The Iranian Ministry of Justice building was attacked in Tehran. The situation in Tehran is so chaotic that Iran's foreign minister was supposed to be interviewed on CNN right now and didn't show up. That was 10:36, less than 20 minutes ago. These are coming in. This is from an Israeli reporter. And I'm not going to repeat this because this is, a personal thing that try to rally people. Oh, there's more coming in. Okay, this is what came out. This is a quote. After failing to hit any point in Israel, okay, it's not a quote yet. Now Iran's regime says, quote, "We did not plan to launch in the last few hours. The crimes Israel committed in Tehran preceded the launches." There is chaos in Iran right now. You got to remember, most of their commanders were taken out. Top commanders in every area, every aspect were taken out by Israel. They're in chaos. They're in disarray. Remember what happened with Hezbollah. They're doing the same game plan. This has been planned for a long time too. Their assets have been in place. Kudos again to the Mossad and the intelligence and the Israelis for knowing where to hit, when to hit. I mean, having people inside Iran, Iranians, doing the work for them. The recruitment process, the training. You got to think, this takes years. This not takes days or weeks or even months. This is well planned. What is this? Oh, that's just a book. Now they're pushing like personal stuff. But I'm watching all the stuff on Telegram, including one from the other side. It was disgusting what they were doing the other side last night. You know, the enjoyment of what was going on. And I'm not going to show you, but they had the nerve. I'm scrolling up. And it's so disgusting. It was so disgusting. They put out images of the 4 people that were killed in Israel. Before it was publicly known that they didn't put it out. And it is disgusting what they even wrote associated with those 4 photos of the 4 people that were. It is disgusting. Enough said. I will not repeat what they wrote in this. That's how disgusting it is and how low it is. But they celebrate death. And you don't know, that's just a part of it. It's, I mean, oh my God. Because they have to, be rah-rah for that side in some way because they're getting their asses whipped. So they'll take any little piece of something that they could put out there to like celebrate what's happening in Israel, obviously. You know what I mean? Because they ain't got much to celebrate right now. So they're doing whatever they can to put the propaganda out there to get everybody all riled up. Matter of fact, he removed that post. He removed the post of Gazans celebrating. It says here, Tel Aviv. Oh my God, I won't even read that. Ugh. Disgusting. And I've never seen an Israeli reporter say something like this. As disgusting as what is coming out from the other side. Really, I have to be honest. I'm trying to find the video. If they might have removed it. You wouldn't believe it. Oh, here's more coming out. Tonight might be a long night. Nightfall is in a couple of hours. And I got to do a show soon, but I'm trying to see if I find this video that they put out there. I think he took it down because it was so disgusting. Yeah, he took it down. He took it down. It showed partying going on. Okay, what is this? Okay, that's them meeting underground. There's so much stuff coming out, it's hard to keep up. It's seriously like that. It's so much. So now it went quiet. So, what's it gonna take? We gotta keep. I would seriously. Now more is coming from the other side. Let's see what the other side is saying now. Iran security forces discovered and defused a bomb that was planted in Ray, southern Tehran. Well, you found one, but 20 others went off so far. You found one. Whoopee! 14 of your nuclear scientists have been taken out so far with these car bombs today in Tehran. Well, this is the other side saying they found the car bomb. They defused the car bomb in Ray, Tehran. Southern Tehran. I guess they got to put something out there. Positive, if you want to call it positive. And I showed Tehran is flooded right now with water. They took out their water plant pipes. There's water everywhere. There is absolute chaos, but you don't see this because they're so close society. There's no internet, none of that. Nothing's coming out. You're getting the information from people inside. And it's unbelievable. Tehran is it's chaos. It is freaking chaos. And they're not putting any of that, none of that, and the other side's showing none of that. They're glorifying what's happening in Israel, but they're showing nothing that's going in Tehran. Wow, look at this twist. Here's a twist. And it shows Netanyahu coming into the site. Netanyahu's visited the site of the missile hit last night. Look what it says. Take a look at how Prime Minister Netanyahu is welcomed in Bat Yam in central Israel. They are cheering and saying, Bibi, King of Israel. Bibi Netanyahu. Bibi, King of Israel. Netanyahu is extremely popular amongst Israelis right now. I believe that left and right appreciate the leadership he is showing right now. Isn't that interesting how their left and right could come together to show appreciation? Wish that would happen here. And that's what it says. I believe that left and right appreciate the leadership he is showing right now. In a time of crisis, countries come together, regardless of their political affiliations. And that's why I said earlier, what's it going to take for this country to get together? They're doing it in Israel. There's your example. And he's been under fire for corruption, trial, all that. But yet, despite all that, people came together regardless. Unity in crisis. I doubt that would happen here. That's how doubtful I am of the bullshit that goes on in our country. And people from other countries feed into it. But that's just the reality of what we live in right now. And that's why I said earlier, like an hour ago, what is it going to take for Trump to get involved? Mr. No Wars. What's it going to take? A big like I said, a big high-rise building in Tel Aviv to fall before we do anything? After multiple impacts in Israel already? And now he changed his tune this morning? After I said that, it was interesting how that comment came out. Not saying that he was watching this, of course not. But it's interesting how quickly he changed his tone from yesterday. The person that can say something now and 25 minutes from now say something totally different. Talk about solid leadership. That's why I said they used to talk about Biden losing his mind. It's scarier if this person has his mind and is like this. This is scarier. I'll take the excuse that Biden had suffered early stages of dementia or Alzheimer's or whatever the hell people were saying. I would take that over somebody who's supposed to still have their marbles together and is thinking this way and doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. That scares me more. I mean, let's be real here. Wait, the same way you criticize that, what's going on right now? Oh my God. And this is what was said just a little while ago by President Trump in an interview with ABC. We are not involved at the moment, but at any moment, we can intervene and help Israel eliminate the Iranian nuclear program. Oh, so it's so tough to say that. A person speaks louder with words than action. Oh, well, I can do it anytime I want. I'm the president of the United States. I can do it when I please, when I feel like I want to do it. It's my choice. I'm the man. I'm the man. Give me a break. This is unbelievable. It's like, is it real? Is this real? Well, I could do it anytime I want. I could intervene at any moment to help the Israelis defend themselves against the Iranian missiles attacks and help them eliminate the nuclear program. When is that moment? What's it going to take? Tel Aviv being hit directly, like high-rise buildings, we're seeing it live as it happens. What's it going to take? The United States policy since the creation of Israel in 1947 has been to defend Israel. Regardless of what president administration is in office, it is our obligation to defend Israel. Not so much now, because Mr. No Wars says, I'll do it when I want. Not, and the hypocrisy. I love Israel. I defend Israel. I've done more for Israel than any other president that's ever existed. What? Come on now. What the hell's going on? He ain't doing much for them right now. But maybe this is what is the whole scenario. Here comes the person riding the horse to save the day and take credit for saving Israel. Because that's what I think this is setting up for. That then he can say, well, I got us involved and we finished off the Iranian nuclear program and all that shit. I saved Israel. That's what this could be all about. To take credit for it. Could be as simple as that. You have to think of the simplistic ways the person thinks. As sad as that sounds, and you may not believe that, but it could be as simple as that. So who knows? Maybe there will be a time soon. Because obviously the talks didn't happen today. Oh, there's going to be talks. We're going to get a deal. Israel and Iran are going to come to the table, and there's going to be a deal made Sunday. What deal? Where? Oh, there's going to be a deal with Ukraine and Russia. We're going to get the deal done. And Putin said, screw yourself. Where's that deal? I don't see any deal. A lot of the things, show me. Ain't no deal. Empty promises. In the first 6 months of an administration, already it's collapsing. Oh my God. I'm afraid to think what happens next. And I'm going to tell you, in approximately, let's say 9 p.m., 2 p.m. here, Eastern, it's going to be interesting, and not in a good way, to see what goes on in Israel tonight. Because Iran got hit hard today. Hard. Tehran is underwater. Nuclear scientists taken out. The Ministry of Defense taken out. Who God only knows what else they're targeting in Iran. And if they're 7 hours ahead, in Tehran it's 7.5. So I'm thinking by 2 o'clock, maybe 3 o'clock here, my time, I got to work a show at 4, but I'm going to be paying attention to what's going on in Israel tonight. Because it might be another long night for Israelis with barrages of missiles coming in from Iran. And God forbid, more missiles make impact in Tel Aviv and other populated areas, and the United States just watches and stands by and lets it happen and does nothing to protect Israel. Under what president has Israel been attacked directly in their main city, Tel Aviv? Only one. The current one. No Biden, no Obama, no Bush, no Clinton, Bush, Reagan, Carter, Nixon, going back. Only now. And crickets. No response. Because Mr. No Wars doesn't want to get us involved. And I get it. We don't want to get ourselves involved in another war. But we're not just talking about any war here. We're talking about Israel. Is there any contradiction here? Is there any... I can understand the point with Ukraine to a point. I can. But Israel? Really? With Israel? You're going to allow it? The Chinese must be like, let's go into Taiwan. As soon as the United States, if they get involved, let's go into Taiwan. He's going to do nothing. Mr. No Wars is going to do nothing. This is better than Biden. He's not going to want to start a war with China, with us. So we'll take Taiwan. I bet you he does nothing. Mr. No Wars. This is dangerous. This is dangerous. This is worse than Biden. People might not see it that way. This is worse than Biden. Did China move into Taiwan under Biden? No. Done, over with. What about now? Mr. No Wars won't start a war. Is Taiwan the United States' problems as a national's point of view? Do we really care what happens to Taiwan? Do we really care what happens to Israel? Because it's America first? Do we care about Taiwan? Or do we just let China take it and we don't want to start a war with China? That's fucking worse than Biden. Believe that. All this bullshit. Political spin on things. This is the scenario, looking this objectively, is worse. Breaking. This is the other side. The target of the Israeli attack and Mashhad International Airport. So this must have happened in Iran. Here's a picture of an attack at their airport. And they're coming in, it's coming in wild right now. So they attacked an air base in Iran. And now this is what the IDF is saying right now. A short while ago, the IAF, the Israeli Air Force, struck an Iranian aerial refueling aircraft at Mashhad Airport in eastern Iran. Approximately, wow, eastern Iran. That's all the way on the other side of Iran. They went far for this one. Approximately 2,300 kilometers from Israel. I just said that. This is a far one. That's why they put that. The IAF is operating to establish aerial superiority over Iranian airspace. They're taking out their bases, air bases, and airports. This marks the longest range strike conducted since the beginning of the operation. I just said that. This is far. It's eastern Iran. It's the other side. Oh, it's just coming in. Breaking. Israeli military chief staff says the Air Force has paved the way to Tehran, striking Iran's nuclear and regime infrastructure like they never imagined. This is changing Israel's strategic reality. We're removing an existential threat. Israel is making the Middle East a better place. And then there another one. This is all Israeli reporting. They just repeated about the attack at the airport. So they're getting decimated. Iran is getting decimated by Israel alone. And people are wondering, can Israel do this alone? Now, the other question is, how much damage are they actually doing to their nuclear facilities? Because it's going to take a big bunker buster to really do the damage necessary to take them out. Or not even to take them out, to put them backward for quite some time. That's going to probably need United States assistance for that. With our bunker busters. The mother bomb. The mother of all bombs, the Moab. So, is that what Trump is hinting? That we will intervene, we could intervene at any moment to help Israel finish off Iran's nuclear program? Is that a hint? Is that what we're going to do? As of what he said to ABC this morning? Maybe. I guess time will tell. So we'll do the cleanup. The finishing touch. The icing on the cake. Could be. Because right now there's no resistance really in Iran. Like they're getting air superiority. Their Air Force consists of old planes. Iran's Air Force. They are no match to the Israeli planes, especially when they're flying F-35s. By us supplying them and training their pilots, they're using F-35s along with other aircraft. This is a good test, I guess, right? For how that F-35 operates on supposedly a well-defended, allegedly well-defended territory of Iran, where their air defenses, where Israel took out their air defenses like that, with the drones operated by Iranians working for the Mossad. How brilliant is that? Brilliant! I'm not saying that, like, it's just, I can't imagine. I have an admiration of the Mossad and how amazing their intelligence are. And their operatives. They're just top of the line. I don't think there's another intelligence agency as good as the Mossad. Ours, Russians, I don't care. They are the best. They are the world's best. And this proves it. The Mossad is, you can't compare them. They're number one. Oh, there's more coming in. Shameful for us of how we destroyed our CIA and demoralized them, and really undermined our own agency people, because this is how we destroyed our intelligence corps. But look at the Mossad. And people don't see the ramifications of when you do shit like that. It has a ripple effect. And this is an example of what a real intelligence agency does. It's just shameful. More from that airport. It's on fire. What's up? Happy Father's Day to everybody. Yeah, it is disgusting times. It's sad. Look at this. This is all coming out right now. A strike in Tehran has ruptured critical water and sewage pipelines, unleashing massive flooding across parts of the city. You can't really tell the video, but it should replay. Oh, it's still going. Tehran is underwater. Sewage, water. This is Tehran. Under freaking water. I mean, not underwater, but flooded. And this is coming from Israeli News 24/7. I got a lot of different sources on Instagram. And it's nonstop. It's constant. There's more. It's just nonstop. The distance from Israel to where that airport is massive. Let me see if you could see it. You can't see it. It's far. They traveled a long distance to hit that airport. The farthest in this operation so far. They went to eastern Iran. Maybe I could pull up Google Earth. They traveled. There had to be a refueling. I wonder who refueled it. Us? For them? We're supplying refueling aircraft for the Israelis? I gotta find this airport. Okay, it's going there. Wow. Holy shit, did they travel a long way? They almost went to the border of Turkmenistan and Afghanistan. Oh my God. Oh my gosh, look how far they went. They went over almost the entire country of Iran to get there. Iran is in trouble. They're in big trouble. I could see regime collapsing. Definitely. This is where the airport is that they hit. Mashhad Hassemi Nejad International Airport. This is what they just hit. This airport here. Demolished. Done. Gone. The Israelis hit this. Look how far this is from Israel. And you'll see the borders. Look at the Turkmenistan, Afghanistan. Look where Israel is. All the way over here. They flew over Iraq and most of Iran to hit this airport. Tehran is somewhere in the middle. In here. I can't see it on the map, but it's somewhere in the middle on the northern side. Let's see where Tehran is. Yeah, I was close. I was real close. And they took out this gas field, this massive gas field. It's somewhere here right here. They took this out yesterday. This is what was on fire yesterday. All 11 were on fire. They took it out. It's one of the largest gas fields in the world. Oh yeah, Genghis, they're going after all the infrastructure. They're targeting everything. I've been paying close attention. That's why I haven't been streaming. They took this out. One was exploding after the other. And this is north of Tehran, or northern Tehran. There's Tehran. You might have seen this on the news when they took this out. Big fire, huge. So they're hitting their main infrastructure. It's actually what you would do from a military point of view. This is what you would do. It causes chaos. They took out their commanders. They took out their... Just imagine. They took out... Now, more stuff is coming. A lot more is coming in. They took out like 35 scientists so far. They took out all their commanders, pretty much. They're in chaos. Iran is in chaos. They may not admit it. They're in chaos right now. If they take out the Ayatollah, which they said that he's off limits yesterday, the regime falls. But you got to weaken the IRGC first. You got to weaken the military branch because they're going to oppress the people. Because if you take the Ayatollah out, it could become a militarized state. The IRGC might say, okay, we're taking control. Then it becomes a militarized state. So you got to hurt the IRGC so that the people can rise. You know, common sense. Views, this is coming from the other side now. Views from the Imam pays a strike. Smoke can be seen from the airport. Apparently the strike targeted an Iranian aerial refueling plane or the runways at the airport. A plane was targeted, confirmed. So now the other side is admitting that this happened, that they took out. I don't know if we can do it sideways. Yeah, we can. It's too bright. But you can see the smoke kind of right there at that airport. The other side is confirming it. More. Holy shit. The attack on the refueling plane on Mashhad is a clear message to the Iranians from Israel. If you dare to lift one plane into the air against our planes, its fate will be the same. So they must have seen this plane trying to take off, and they took it out. They are air superiority mode. That means Iran's Air Force is toast. They have no means to defend in the air to air. They're toast. They are toast. Iran is toast. That's what this is telling me. Iran is toast. All the signs, Iran is toast. Oh shit. Panic in Iranian capital. Stores are being emptied in Tehran. Chaos, panic, confusion. People are now going into stores and emptying them out in Tehran. I don't see that happening in Israel. Remember, this is the capital. Tehran is falling. Tehran is falling. Now you could say this is propaganda video being put out, but it's real video. It's not AI. This is really happening. So you could spin it however you want to spin it. But it looks like Because you're not going to get the information coming out from Iran. They're going to cover it up. They're going to pretend everything's fine. Everything is not fine in Iran right now. And it's just constantly freaking coming in. So like I said, I've been watching, believe it or not, I've been watching Steve, Agenda Free TV, and Tusi TV, Tousi TV. I don't know if he's live right now. And if he goes live, I'm going to go get off here and watch him because I can't share his stream. It's stealing. He's Persian, and I believe he's living in the UK. So, and he's a Christian, which you don't even know how he's being attacked by Iranians because he's Persian. And he's streaming against the regime. One of the reporters that I get the information from, let's see if we can hear him.
Make sure that it has the blue check mark on Telegram with my name, with that many followers. Subscribe for free and just get non-stop updates, okay? Please share this video.
I was watching.
Short update. Tomorrow I will give you a comprehensive, in-depth analysis.
He's one of the guys I get the telegram from. He's one of the people I'm getting the information from, him. That's crazy. He just went on. Holy shit. Look at this. From the other side. Iranian media reports Iranian intelligence has discovered a Mossad drone manufacturing workshop in Islamshar, Tehran province. So they supposedly found some kind of a Mossad manufacturing drone workshop in the middle of Tehran. Like you didn't know that? In your intelligence didn't know inside your own capital there was a Mossad drone workshop? That's embarrassing. That's embarrassing. Shows how incompetent their intelligence is. And you know, when all this rhetoric comes out from Iran, and has for decades, the rhetoric, you'll pay, we're gonna all this, well, doesn't look so good right now for you, does it, Iran? It looks really bad. And it looks really bad for all your proxies, because they're like this. If Iran falls, we're fucked. We don't get that anymore. What do we do now? Who's going to help us now? Saudi Arabia? No. Nobody's going to help you. Maybe Yemen? No, I don't think so. They play both sides. You're screwed. Hezbollah, you're screwed. Hamas, you're done. Like I said, where else are they going to get it from? Syria. Look at what happened with Syria. Where is the proxies going to get their help from now? The Houthis must be freaking out. The collapse is happening. And has been being worked on for the last couple of years. Maybe, you know, taking out Hezbollah like Israel did. Taking out the Houthis. The Houthis are still something that you got to watch. But they'll be taken care of after. You can bet on that. They're already trying to go for their command now. So we could be witnessing the collapse of this whole movement. Period. End of story. Done. We could be witnessing it. And I know this could upset people, you know, that look at the Zionist regime as occupiers and settlers and this and that, never wanting to admit, or not even admit, never want to accept Israel as a state. I get it. And like I said, when you say publicly that Iran is going to pay a heavy price for targeting civilian locations, well, Gaza is completely leveled. Regardless of the Hamas equation, those civilians are living in absolute, it's Armageddon there. It's destruction. Gaza is leveled. And there's a lot of civilians that live there. And targeting civilian population areas. So, what the hell was that just went across my screen? Something just went this way. Was it a bug? I saw that. That was weird. So I get that. I get that too. Looking at both sides. They don't want to show you the aerial footage of Gaza because it's all rubble. Meanwhile, over 2 million people live there. You missed the whole thing, Amol. You're gonna have to watch all over again because I'm not going over everything I talked about today. It's been a lot. A lot is going on. And so far, which is surprising, no new Telegram messages coming in from either side, which is kind of weird. It just went quiet on Telegram. But like I said, by 3 p.m. this afternoon, my time, noon for the West Coasters, you should pay attention to another night in Israel. And to see if anything, I don't want to see it, something happens. Because last night was, and Iran, like I said, is getting devastated right now. Flooding in the streets. Widespread attacks by the Israelis right now all over the country. Car bombings by Mossad agents taking out what's reported by Reuters. 14 nuclear scientists have been taken out by car bombs today in Tehran. Here's one. Here's a new one. Oh, it's the same thing. The distance between Israel and the airport that they struck in eastern is Iran today. It's unbelievable the distance they took. They had to be refueled, obviously, probably by U.S. to target that airport in eastern Iran, not western Iran or central Iran, eastern Iran. So Iran looks like it's collapsing. And another thing to keep an eye out for is what was mentioned yesterday. The Ayatollah is not off limits. They will target him. They will try to take him out. If that happens, I could see a regime collapse in Iran right now. Absolutely. Absolutely a regime collapse. But the key element here, question is, will it become a militarized state by the IRGC? Will they become a militarized state? If you take out the Ayatollah, and his advisor was taken out yesterday. His close advisor was eliminated yesterday. So, and they took out a ton of commanders of their military. They took out one of the largest gas fields in the world. They're taking out their infrastructure. Oh, here's more. It's nonstop. Oh, here goes from the other side. Israel begins withdrawing forces from Gaza to reinforce the Lebanese, Syrian, and Jordanian fronts. That's possible. It's possible. That's the other side saying that. Tehran a short while ago. hard to see, I know. Tehran is getting pummeled. I showed you a video from the phone of the flooding going on in Tehran. They hit sewage and water pipelines. I showed you the people panicking in the stores and emptying out the stores in Tehran right now. There is chaos and panic in Tehran right now. And where's the leadership? The leadership is hiding because they're being targeted. Iran is collapsing. Unless something bizarre happens, this could be, I'm not saying it is, this could be a regime change. And I know there's people out there saying it will never happen. The people that support this. Oh, it will never happen. Well, it doesn't look good. Don't look good right now. They don't even have air superiority. They can't even fly a plane. Their air defenses obviously don't work because there's the freedom of airspace movement over Iran. So where's your air defenses? Where's your army? Could you imagine the army tried to assemble some kind of a front crossing over into Iraq, heading into Jordan or Syria, trying to get to Israel? That's when you would see the United States. I guarantee that would be the one to take it all out, because that's a defensive posture for Israel. They won't make it a quarter of the way. They would be taken out immediately. So their army is pretty much status quo. They can't do anything. So what else do they have left? The Navy? Are they going to do something in the Persian Gulf to try to close the Strait of Hormuz? What do they have left? What act? See, this is the scary part, though, is what act of desperation will they do now? You taking us down, we're going to fuck up the whole world. What is the oil prices? What's the price of Brent crude right now? That's a good question. Brent crude price. Last I saw it was 74 a barrel. Let's see what it's up to. It went up to 75. Oil has gone up. I put a TikTok thing out there. I'm not on TikTok now because I'm going crazy right now. But watch the markets. Watch the markets. Oil is going up again. Look where it was. In June, look how low it was. Look at it now. It's spiked all the way to here. The 52-week low was 58. The 52-week high was 87. Previous close, 69. It opened today at 70. It's now at 75. Keep an eye out on the oil markets. And also the stock markets. Just keep an eye. This is something to definitely keep an eye on. Brent is one of the places you want to go to monitor oil. There's another one, I can't remember the other name, but Brent is one of the big ones. So keep an eye. That's why I fueled my car Friday. And I filled up gas cans to have backup. Because the prices are going to go up as a result of all this. Could it come down? Of course it can. But the trend with everything that's going on is up. 611, it was 69. 610, 66, 67, in the mid-60s since May. Well, it's gone up $10. Look how low it got. And then it bottomed out here. It pretty got low there, right there. 61 on May 2nd, but now it's up 10.2% right now. Keep an eye on the markets. And they took out, like I said, a big gas field in Iran. Now, do we depend on them? No, but other countries do. China gets a lot of their oil from Iran. And they were doing some shady shit too, flagging the ships on different flags because there was they were sanctioned from getting, countries were sanctioned from getting oil from Iran, but they were doing some sly shit to get oil from Iran. Okay, let's see if I can find it. Russia is a big one. It's not showing it here. It says as of some of these articles are too old. But it says, why is China turning its back on Iranian oil? Very limited information. When is the date on this? But they wanted to create an ecological civilization that relies less on fossil fuels and more on renewable energy. So they're trying to trend away from their dependence. Actually, it says here Saudi Arabia is China's largest crude oil supplier. So this is going to affect a lot of countries here. Okay, this is a later article. Look, and this is what I was talking about. Oh, shit. This is what I was talking about. This is a more recent article. Oil flows from Iran to China jump as traders work around curbs. And that's the sanctions. This was February of this year. So who do you think is concerned right now by what's going on in Iran? That's why they're like raising hell. Here's another one, new. Mashir air defenses activate again. So their air defenses have been reactivated around that airport again. Around that airport that was hit earlier, Iran has got their air defenses going again. So that's coming out of Iran, which they don't show much. This is coming from an Iranian telegram. That's the Iranian Boeing 747 tanker plane that the IDF has destroyed at Mashhad, of which Only two exist in the world. Holy shit. Holy shit. So they took out this plane. Only two exist in the world. That's what it says. That's the claim. And this is what it looked like after getting taken out. Right there. Now, if you want to get the alerts, it's mine. I'm going to reactivate mine. So I know when something could be coming into Israel. This is the app. It's the Red Alert app. You can find this Red Alert app. It looks like that. On Android or iPhones, you can find that Red Alert app. This is what they use in Israel. When the sirens go off and the alerts go off, this is the app. So I'm going to leave this on. So if anything is incoming, this thing will go off. I just cleared all the past alerts. So this is what ABC News. This is what the president said this morning on ABC News. President Donald Trump said Sunday that the U.S. is not involved in Israel's military strike, but it's possible we could get involved. Listen, look at this. This just drives me nuts. In an interview with ABC News' Rachel Scott, Trump said he's open to Russian President Vladimir Putin serving as a mediator in the conflict. Russia supports Iran, dumbass. Oh my God. Something he said the Russian president pitched in their phone call on Saturday. Here are the highlights from the interview. I think on Israel's latest attack on Iran, I think they were very devastating. It was very devastating. They were hit also, but it was very devastating into Iran primarily. They were hit also. Look at the way he talks. On a deadline for Iran to come to the negotiation table. I want to hear this. No, there's no deadline. Oh, yes, there was a deadline. What are you talking about? There was no deadline. Now he's changing it. There was a deadline. You gave them 60 days. 61st day, Israel attacks. What are you talking about? No, there's no deadline. But they are talking. No, they're not. The talks that were scheduled for today got canceled. Iran said, there's no reason. They'd like to make a deal. He always says that. They like to make a deal? No, there's no talk about that. He's the one that's saying that. Nobody else is talking about making a fucking deal. Something like this had to happen. Because I think even from both sides, but sometimes something like this had to happen. Did it really have to happen? They want to talk, and they will be talking. Are they talking right now, or are they exchanging fire at each side? No, nobody's talking. This is like Israel is using all means necessary to totally destroy Iran. I don't see talking as part of this equation at this moment, unless I'm missing something. What? Asked again about the talks being called off, the president said he's confident it may help the deal. Oh my, it's laughable. May have forced a deal to get quicker, actually, to go quicker, actually. What? Will the U.S. get more involved in the conflicts? We're not involved in it. It's possible we could get involved, but yet we are not at the moment involved because of his no wars policy. Putin as a mediator in the conflict. Yeah, I would be open to it. He is ready. He called me about it. We had a long talk about it. We talked about this more than his situation, meaning Ukraine. This is laughable. This is a laughable coming from our president. There is something I believe is going to get resolved. He's been saying that, like, on the first day, the war will end. So those are the ABC News just released that. Does anybody here watching think that Iran and Israel are going to sit down at a negotiating table anytime soon? Israel knows they've got Iran by the balls right now. They're not going to talk. They want to get the job done. Did they talk to sit down with Hezbollah? Or Hamas? Or anybody else? Fuck no. They've been waiting for this for a long time. They're not going to backtrack now. They're all in. The question is, will we defend Israel at some point? Like, literally. He's delusional. And getting Putin involved? Russia already said, and I saw it. I saw the emergency UN Security Council meeting. Russia has Iran's back. We defend Iran. We support Iran. So you're going to send Putin in, who already publicly, well, we publicly defend Israel, so that's to be fair. We're going to send Putin in to negotiate with Israel and Iran. We can't even negotiate a deal with Ukraine and Russia. So now we're going to send Putin in to negotiate as a mediator between Israel and Iran. That's a fucking joke. It's kind of scary that our president thinks this way. It's even scarier than people, at least there was the excuse that Biden might have been losing it. You know what I mean? Like mentally losing it. This guy claims to have all his marbles up on his head, and he's talking like this. We're going to leave it up to Russia as the mediator to solve this? The president of the United States is saying this? Oh, that's scary. You know why? Because he doesn't want to be the no wars president that breaks his oath that we're going to get into a war. That's why. He made an obligation. No wars. So he's going to let Israel get pummeled by missiles. Mr. No Wars. At one point, does he stop this? It's freaking ridiculous. Like I said, let's be fair and objective. The same way you talked about Biden losing his mind and suffering from dementia. Well, if this guy's not losing dementia, it doesn't have any signs of dementia, then he has all his marbles, and this is what we're dealing with as a president of the United States talking like this, we have serious concerns. That scares me more than him losing his mind. And like I said, this has nothing to do with necessarily this situation. China is watching all this. So is North Korea. And of course, Putin is. China's saying, Mr. No Wars. He's not even stepping in to defend Israel. Maybe he doesn't want to start a larger conflict. Maybe he just doesn't want to simply get the United States involved in another war. Because a lot of people agree to that, including myself. Get drawn into another big long-term engagement. But then, what signal does this send to China, who everybody was saying China was going to invade Taiwan under Biden? Constantly. They're waiting for the tides. They're waiting for this. They're waiting. China's saying, maybe Mr. No Wars will do nothing if we walk into Taiwan because he doesn't want to start a war. So we'll take Taiwan. He won't do a thing. This is what this sets up. This is dangerous. His inaction, his inability to get involved because he made a promise, can restrict him from doing anything. Think about that. This is worse than Biden. This is worse than Biden. China, like I said, could say, hey, he's not even defending Israel. He's not going to do this for Taiwan. Taiwan, America doesn't fit the America First policy. This has nothing to do with him. So he's not going to do anything. So we should move on Taiwan now. Because he's not going to do anything. It's not an America First policy. They don't care. He doesn't care about what happens to Taiwan. So maybe we should just move in on Taiwan. Because he's not going to start a war. Could you imagine what China's thinking right now, looking at all this shit going on now? Oh no, we'll get Putin to be the mediator. What? We're going to get Putin to be the mediator on this? What? Does anybody see a problem with all this? And I want to hear the defenders of this. Oh, but we don't want to get into a war. But I thought he was the one that said, I've done the most for Israel than any other president ever. He ain't doing shit right now. Under what president has there been bombs falling on Tel Aviv and massive casualties and injuries? Under what president? Only one. This one. Oh, but this is the guy who's done the most for Israel than any other president. Oh, maybe we've been supplying them forever with weaponry and supplies and money. Is something not clear here? Is something wrong? Is there some kind of a mixed signal or frequency thing going on? Am I seeing this like for real? For real, the patients are running the asylum. It's bizarre. Amy, you're right. It's like, what the hell is going on? What's it going to take? Are we going to see tonight? God forbid. I do not want to see. I'm a person of peace. I'm a mediator. I'm not a drama person. I hate it. I really do. I like peace. I like calm. Right now, I'm not calm. Because I've been watching this carefully over the last few days. That's why I haven't been streaming. But at 3 p.m., probably by 3 p.m. today, my time, as it gets dark in Israel, 7 hours ahead of me, shit might hit the fan in Israel tonight. Do you realize the damage Israel did to Iran today? You don't think they're going to retaliate? Flooding on Tehran, airports being struck, 14 nuclear scientists by car bombs by Mossad agents who are Iranian, taking out 14 scientists with 20 car bombs in Tehran today. Panic in Tehran right now. And you don't think Iran's going to not retaliate tonight? Maybe they can't. Maybe they've been demoralized and decimated to a point where they can't even respond. But tonight might be a long night in Israel for retaliatory strikes by Iran. Could be. Not saying it will be. But if I was them, I would strike Israel with everything I've got, because Israel is giving you a whoop ass right now. Now, God forbid, more casualties tonight in Tel Aviv, and we do nothing still. When do we step in to defend Israel? That is an obligation by the United States to defend Israel. It has been our policy. Does anybody not understand that? I mean, you may agree with it or disagree with it, defending Israel. That's besides the point. It is U.S. policy. You could be against it, you could be for it, whatever. I'm not talking about that. That's a debate. Oh, here's more coming in. Oh, God. An Olympic person trying to get out of Israel. A story on that. Like, who cares? Really. We're going to talk about celebrities worrying about getting out of Israel because of the bombings? Come on now. Stop it. That's just ridiculous. Holy shit. IRGC intelligence headquarters in Tehran needs renovations. Another strike by the Israelis. And there's the building. It's destroyed. IRG Intelligence Headquarters needs renovations. Does that look like somebody who wants to sit down and have talks? Especially with Putin? Does it? Mr. President Trump, do you honestly think at this point talks are possible? Oh yeah, they're ready to talk. This is what he said today. They're ready to talk. They're ready to make a deal. Does it look like they're ready to make a deal? Who's telling you this? Who out of your incompetent advisors is telling you this? A Fox News TV host? I mean, like, really? Oh my God. Does this not scare anyone? Does this not make anybody nervous? The incompetence level of this administration dealing with a crisis? That's why I said China's next. Watch China make a move on Taiwan. Watch. Oh, they said it on the Biden. No. But now is real. Because they're watching what's going on right now. Mr. No Wars won't do a thing because it's an America First policy not to get involved. If they're not getting involved with Israel, you think they're going to get involved with Taiwan to start a war with China? Are you kidding me? They're going to walk in. They're going to make a move on Taiwan. By the end of the year, China is going to make a move on Taiwan because Mr. No Wars won't do a damn thing. He's all talk. Watch. It's one thing to say a president is suffering from dementia, losing his marbles, than another situation when a president is just supposedly has all his marbles and is totally incompetent. That's worse. Worse. Because at least there's people in the outside trying to manage and make sure everything stays intact with supposedly a person losing their marbles than a president with incompetent idiot advisors around him, not telling him what he needs to fucking be doing, but telling him what he wants to hear. That's worse. That's worse. This is worse. And, you know, you could be a supporter of rah-rah here, rah-rah there, right, left. But we have to look at this objectively of what's going on. Forget about politics. Forget about politics. Look at what's going on in real time in front of you. Forget about being a Republican. Forget about being a Democrat. Forget about being an independent, whatever the hell you are. Look what's going on right now and the words coming out of our president. It's freaking cray-cray. We're going to let Putin be the mediator in this. Why does he always bow to Putin? Why is Putin always... Well, Putin called me yesterday. We had a long call. It wasn't even about his situation. He said that. It's not even about his situation, meaning Russia, Ukraine. Talking about that he's willing to be a mediator in this crisis. Oh, my buddy, Putin, told me he'll get involved. And what? Does anybody not see an issue with this? Everything is Putin, 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 Putin. When it comes to him. Well, I'll let Putin make the decision. I'm being polite, Amy, as best as I can, and calm as best as I can. This is scary stuff. Because, okay, and to be fair, did Israel want Iran to have the capacity to have nuclear weapons like when North Korea, and that's part of that is our past administration's fault for allowing North Korea to possess a nuclear weapon. And then it's too late. They have it. Israel said, screw that. We're not waiting for another North Korea scenario. We're going to take hands put things in our own hands and take this shit out now before it gets to where North Korea got to. Does anybody see the logic in that? I do. Too late. We got him. Too bad. Go F yourself. That's the reality of the situation. Could you imagine? Could you imagine some of these missiles hitting Tel Aviv with a tactical nuke on it, a small yield nuke, or some proxy smuggling a suitcase-sized nuclear device and detonating it in Israel? Do we wait for something like that to happen, or do we be proactive and prevent it from happening? Because they're capable of doing it. Kinda, yeah. I'm trying to stay calm. But I would hope that the people in our country wake up and just deal with the bitter taste of reality of what's going on right now, whether you like it or not. We need to do a serious wake-up call. Forget about the word woke. Wake up. Forget about woke. We need to wake. Awake. Awaken. Whatever freaking word you want to use. I'm not worried about woke right now. I'm worried about being awakened. We put so much emphasis in other things. And don't get me wrong. I am very concerned that if we get involved, that stuff could happen in our country by cells. There's no doubt about that. And I'm sure they're thinking about the same thing, if we want to look at this in a realistic way. But the way they made it sound is that thousands are already here that crossed over the border waiting to go into action. Maybe that's their fear. Maybe there's something else going on we don't know. It's very possible. And they don't want to make a move because they know that's a trigger. If we do, it triggers what goes on in the homeland. There's many ways to look at this. As a objective, practical person that I try to be, and looking at it from all different angles and perspectives, that is a possibility. But to be narrow-minded and look at this from a very pinpointed point of view, you're missing the whole picture. And I don't know if people are just not informed or they don't care, they're ignorant, or whatever it is. I don't know what the reasoning is. But this is a serious, serious time right now. And I never want to hear I am the biggest defender of Israel unless he comes in like Mighty Mouse to save the day, because he'll take credit for it, and use our Moabs, mother of all bombs, and start hitting Iran's nuclear facilities and cleaning up after what the Israelis started and taking credit for the success against Iran. I could see that as a very, very big possibility. Because then he'll say, well, I saved Israel from Iran. Because it's, of course, me. Like he said, I alone have the power to intervene at any moment if I want to. If I want to. The I. Not we, the United States, defend Israel. Not we, the country. I. Does anybody not pick this up? I. Aye, Captain. Aye. You're right to an extent, Amy. The reasoning, everyone lives inside their own head. We all have our own opinions, and as individuals, that should be the case. But to be ignorant to the reality of the situation is a whole different ballgame. Or uninformed because they're stuck on one media outlet as a source of information. And they believe all the propaganda that comes from that media organization, whether it's CNN, Fox, MSNBC, OAN, it goes on and on. They're fed that 24/7, that narrative, all freaking day, night long. And that's all they know. That is a big part of the problem. Also, social media is a big, big part of that. Oh, I definitely have a low tolerance for that, Amy, for sure. Definite. Low tolerance for idiocracy. But it's scary as a foreign policy or even domestic policy. When you have protests going on and you instigate the protests claiming there's riots going on and you're going to save California when by sending in the National Guard and Marines when you can't stand the state of California to begin with, and now you're the savior of California? Does anybody not see anything weird about that? To make it into a political, commercial ad stunt? Because that's really what it is. They provoked the people doing what they did there. There was no need. There was no need. There was no fucking rioting going on the way they made it sound. The cars started burning once the National Guard showed up. And they made that tense situation. And don't get me wrong. Anybody who does any act of violence, have to be arrested and charged to the full extent of the law. But did it really have to come to that? But you see, here's the precedent. If you can get away with doing that in LA, that means you can do it anywhere in the country. It's a precedent. And I don't mean president, precedent. How far can we push this? I remember when they used to say, oh, under Obama, FEMA camps were going to pop up all over the place. Martial law is going to be installed, and the National Guard is going to be brought in. Well, what the fuck is going on right now? Obama didn't do it. Oh, Obama's never going to leave after his last term in office. That was a big thing. Well, what about our current president? It's amazing how hypocrisy runs so thick. But when the shoe's on the other foot, it's okay. That's the hypocrisy. And that's the dangerous things that we're dealing with in this country right now. And because it's a revenge thing, publicly arresting people in Congress as a stunt. Look what happened in Minnesota yesterday. 2 lawmakers shot, in one case, a lawmaker and her husband died. I guarantee you this. Guarantee. The spin will be, this was a deep state operation. This person was a Democrat that killed another Democrat. They're going to spin this to the end because if you notice, it's been very silent. The one thing as a responsible lawmaker, everyone from every side should have said, everyone, this is unacceptable. This violence is heinous, regardless of party. Crickets. Nobody's speaking out against this. I don't give a shit what party you're from. You have to come out and publicly make a statement that this is unacceptable. Because if they don't say anything, it's almost like they're condoning it. You have to make a public statement condoning it. Like, like saying this is wrong. This is not acceptable. Because there's a lot of crazy people out there. I don't know what the hell is going on. And yes, people in Congress have the right to go to ICE detention centers and get access. And then they make the public stunt that we're not going to let them in. They provoke that. They purposely provoke that so they can get something to happen so that you can see it all over TV. That it's amazing the spin and how things are staged and purposely created. So it's put all over the TVs on whatever media outlet is working for whatever side it is. It's purposely done. That's not deep state. That's not conspiracy. That's a fact. It's just unbelievable where this country is going. And if nobody has concern about it, nobody is alarmed by it, then we're screwed even worse than I thought. So, and it, you know, people can be, oh, huff, puff, puff, bullshit, you know, like the one side, oh. Look at the law. Oh, did we forget about the law? Or do we ignore the law when it's inconveniently affecting your point of view? It's just insane. But this thing that's going on in Israel, like I said, in about 2 to 3 hours when it gets dark in Israel, I don't know. And this is just the law. It's a public law. Facility visits for members of Congress and staff for ICE facilities. This is the law. None of the funds appropriated or otherwise made available of the Department of Homeland Security by this act may be used to prevent any of the following persons from entering for the purpose of conducting oversight any facility operated by or for the Department of Homeland Security used to detain or otherwise house aliens, or to make any temporary modification at any such facility that in any way alters what is observed by a visiting member of Congress or such designated employee compared to what would be observed in the absence of such modification. Member of Congress, an employee of the House. Nothing in the sections may be construed to require a member of Congress to provide prior notice of intent to enter a facility. This is the law. That is the law. That is the law. Despite what you might see on TV, conservative media outlets, the funniness that you think it is, the joke that you think it is, bullshit. It is the law. But they're ignoring the law. They are denying them entry. Nothing in this section may be construed to require a member of Congress to provide prior notice or the intent to enter a facility as described in subsection A. So, lies, lies, lies. Bottom line, they provoked it. They purposely did it to stage it, to create a confrontation. Do you understand that? It is a law. It is a law. No member of Congress should be denied to enter an ICE facility for any reason. Zero. The law. As you just seen on the screen. They're purposely doing this. That's just one example. To provoke. It's a disgrace. It is a disgrace. The obvious ignorance or just downright, I don't even know. It's like, I can't even make sense of it. Obstructing the law. They are obstructing the law. Any member of Congress, House or Senate, has the right to visit any ICE facility, and they don't need prior authorization. They can walk in there anytime to do oversight, to see what's going on in a facility with aliens. It specifically says aliens, meaning illegals. But what? They were denied? They they've been showing videos of like people trying to get access to an ICE facility and told that they can't come in. Members of Congress, I think it was Maxine Waters. She tried. They said no, you can't come in. No, that's against the law. She should be able to go in. She's a member of Congress. You have no say. It's the law. She doesn't need prior authorization. She don't need shit. She's a member of Congress. She wants to go in there and see oversight, see what's going on inside. She has the right under law. Too bad if you're crying about it. Too bad if you don't want it to happen. It's the law. But you are disobeying the law by telling her she can't come in, or any member of Congress. So there's two sides of this. That is the law. And they're breaking the law by not allowing them entry. And they know this, but they want to cause the confrontation, and they want to get it on video and say that they assaulted this, or say it's a setup, it's a front, it's a show. And it's obviously going to a certain group. So this is just, that's fact. That's the law. That's not some opinion. That's not me coming up with my opinion. That's the law. As you just read. You may ignore it. You may say bullshit. That's the law. Whether you like it or not, that's the law. What about law? What about law and order? Something's wrong. Something is definitely going wrong. And we better straighten this out. And if people just lay down and accept it all, they talk about losing rights. And I mean, what? Going after judges because they disagree of you, of the decision they made, attacking judges, attacking the judicial system, attacking members of Congress, arresting members of Congress. Does anybody not see a weird shift in a bad way going on in this country? It's right in front of you. Are you ignoring it? Are you closing your eyes? Are you enjoying it? Are you laughing about it? Is this entertaining for you? Are you part of it? Like Mom just said. Are you? When the shit hits the proverbial fan in this country, when there's absolute unrest, all of the above are responsible for it because they did nothing. That is as big as a warning that you can get. You're allowing this. You're turning your head. You are allowing this to happen.
Yeah.
Under our watch.
I wonder if they have a tunnel that we don't know about.
Oh my God.
And they could escape from there.
And, you know, again, under the Constitution, First Amendment, people have the right to protest as long as they do it peacefully. But when you cross that line, you cross that line. You are to be arrested. And throw the book. Because these people are there to cause chaos and cause disruptions. Now, in a conspiracy world, people would say they were purposely put there to start something so that it could turn into a riot. Like one side will say it's Antifa or Bezos paid people or from another country. But what about the flip side? Why don't you hear the conspiracies from the other side saying, oh no, those were MAGA people that set this up to stir shit up so that there could be a confrontation between police and protesters? How come you don't hear much of a spin of that as a conspiracy? Would that be okay? I mean, both sides. See what I mean? Two wrongs don't make a right here. But this is the state of confusion. It just makes people's head spins. They can't focus. They don't know what's going on. They're confused. They don't know what to think. They don't know who to trust. They don't know what to trust.
And if they find a gun and you wanted to put you in jail,
And that's the best way to control and manipulate. When people are in such a confused state or fear is weaponized, obviously. This is where we're living right now.
in hell,
Oh my God.
in hell.
And I'm saying this very objectively in the middle. I'm not saying this as a Republican. I'm not saying this as a Democrat. I'm saying this straight down the line, looking at it objectively. And that's what people should do. It doesn't matter if you're a Republican or a Democrat. You have to look at shit objectively. And don't be blinded. Just see what's going on around you. Have peripheral vision. Be responsible for your own actions and your own opinions. Don't just go follow the leader like a Pied Piper with mouse. And don't be afraid to speak out about it. They've won. If they take away your voice, they've won. They want you to be diminished and not to rise up and speak about anything. They just want you to follow in the line. When something's wrong, it should be called out. Is that difficult? I don't see. It baffles me. I don't see the issue there. And the law cannot be more clear with this ICE thing that you see on the news. The law makes it super clear. Do I need it to make it bigger? I mean, do I? It's the language is freaking clear as possible. This is a public law. Department of Homeland Security Appropriations Act. Unless they change the law, this is the law. None of the funds appropriated or otherwise made available to the Department of Homeland Security by this act may be used to prevent any of the following persons from entering for the purpose of conducting oversight, any facility operated by or for the Department of Homeland Security, used to detain or otherwise house aliens, or to make any temporary modification at any such facility that in any way alters what is observed by a visiting member of Congress or such designated employee compared to what would be observed in the absence of such modification. A member of Congress. They have absolute access anytime. A member of the House. Nothing in this section may be construed to require a member of Congress to provide prior notice of the intent to enter a facility described in subsection A for the purpose of conducting oversight. Now, with respects to individuals described in subsection A2, that's this, an employee of the United States Representative or Senate, that's different, not Congress, may be required to request be made 24 hours in advance of an intent to enter a facility described in subsection A. But that's not one. That's in subsection 2, not 1. Member of Congress has absolutely all the rights to enter a freaking facility at any time, no matter what, under law. And no, the president executive branch is not above that law. This is the law. Clear law. And they purposely created some kind of a confrontation so that it could be played all over the media outlets that a scene was caused at an ICE facility as members of Congress tried to get access. Now, does a mayor have a right? No. Like the mayor in Newark. No. He's not a member of Congress. To be clear. and fair. And they made a big joke of this, like it was a laughing. I see it, I deal with it. Okay. And they might be trying to be slick. Because the representatives, there's the catch. Because it's happening all over the place. Mr. Gomez, these are representatives. But see, representatives is different, but that's a technicality. Mr. Gomez and Ms. Torres said they were denied entry to the same building on Saturday. In a video, Mr. Gomez said that as members of Congress, he and Ms. Torres have the right to oversee the well-being of those being detained and their conditions. That is absolute fact. He said that officers outside the building had sprayed an irritant into the air to deter them from approaching. This is really preventing us from doing our jobs. It was unconscionable that federal agents would spray an irritant at members of Congress. See, now this is obvious obstruction of the law by federal agents at an ICE facility. And where's that order coming from? It is an obstruction of the law. These congressional members have the right to get access. It's the law. And they're being denied. And what are the courts doing? What are the courts doing? The law is as clear as day. Do you understand? What the hell is going on? And I don't know. And like I said, we've been so dumbed down and to accept this type of stuff that it's acceptable. That's how dumbed down we've become and numb to this. That's what it really is. We've become numb to this. That is almost like this is okay and ordinary. Does not anybody see some serious red flags? No? Nobody's concerned? When our own government is ignoring the laws of the rights of members of Congress for oversight, they don't want oversight of anything.
Shit.
The only oversight they got excited was Doge.
Bill,
That's the only oversight they cared about.
Bill,
What, Mom?
I'm looking out my window over here and I saw a car with lights on it. Driving.
I don't know. I need a cigarette just to relax
I just seen
because I'm getting
it.
like this. It makes me so freaking aggravated.
Just seen it.
Because it's one thing to be opinionated and to put things up and it's fake or it's bullshit. I'm talking as a Republican, I'm talking as a Democrat. But when you see the law as clear as day as I put up on the screen and you see what's going on, something is not adding up.
There's 1 line, 2 line, 4 lines.
That's the law.
And there's some down there all the way.
And that's why you hear them thinking, well, we have the right to go into. Oh, no, you don't. Oh, yes, they do.
All the
Oh, no, you don't. Oh, yes, you do. And we do because we're members of Congress. We don't need your permission to come in. Who the fuck are you? A federal agent telling a member of Congress they can't come in when they have, under law, the right to go into any facility at any time. No prior authorization needed by a member of Congress. It's in the law for oversight. And it says to observe the detainees and aliens in the facility or any changes made in the facility. It says detainees. So if they want to go see a person that was taken into custody by ICE to see how they're doing, they have the right. Just because you don't like it and you don't want them to see him does not, or her, does not make it right. It's the law. They have the right to see how that person is doing. Politically, you might not like it, but the law says you must. But there is no law that they're observing because they're denying people to get in. So they're breaking the law. They're obstructing, not breaking the law. They're obstructing the law. Bottom line, they are obstructing the law. Take me to court. What do you think the courts are going to do? Take it to the Supreme Court. What do you think they're going to do? That's the game. That's the game. Do you understand what the game is? That's the game. 6-3 advantage game. And since one of them hasn't been going with the program too much, she's been attacked. One of the conservative judges on the Supreme Court. She's been under attack. So this is what I'm talking about. And this is not coming from a Democrat. As Mom knows, I'm independent. I vote for who I think I best want to represent my interests, my community. I voted Republican. I voted Democrat. And I'm not afraid to say it. Because I'm voting with what I believe in, what my interests are. Not the party interests, what I want. I live in a red county. Our county voted for a Democrat in the House. A red district voted for a blue representative. And they'll say, you are crazy. You are not with us. You're with them. Because people voted with their conscience and their opinions and what they saw was best for their needs. That's what it should be about, shouldn't it? At least that's what I think. I just voted 2 weeks ago for the school for a Republican because I like what the Republican candidate said about the system and what this person wants to do. I can cross that line. I'm not worried about crossing a line. And I feel real good about that too, that I have the freedom of choice. I don't want that freedom taken away from me. For real. That's one thing I don't want to, definitely don't want to lose that. All right, let's see what the hell's going on. Oh, the other side has a telegram. Iranian intelligence forces discovered and intercepted a truck on its way with one-way drones in. Oh shit! They're sharing pictures of a truck with drones by Mossad. Well, Iranian agents working for the Mossad, and they showed pictures of the things they found on the truck. Of course, you're gonna see that on both sides. Oh, he's got more. This has to do with Hamas. Head of Israel's, and this is part of. Here come the alerts. Alerts are coming in. Israel. Rocket fire, probably from Lebanon. No. Gaza. Rocket fire from Gaza. Here, and this is what President Trump, that's laughable, said this morning. Really laughable, especially the Putin part. It's okay. He said, I had a long talk with Putin, and Putin wants to mediate between Iran and Israel. I'm okay with that. What an imbecile. Everything is Putin. I mean, do people not concerned about this rationality here? This is a major conflict in the world. This could spill over. This could become a major, major issue in the world.
This could,
And you're going to hand it off to Putin
this is going to disappear.
as the mediator? Really?
Oy,
This is what the U.S. does now?
I know.
What the hell?
For that brings Hitler that
Hold on. I got to read that last one. I don't know what. Two sources tells Reuters Trump has vetoed Israel's plans to eliminate Khomeini. Trump vetoed Israel's. They wanted to take out Ayatollah. Trump vetoed it. Reuters is claiming this now.
They're putting it out flags out there.
That's what Reuters just put out. Wow. Head of Israel's National Security Council. I am unaware of any Iranian request for mediation. I don't think they will raise the white flag now. If I were an Iranian citizen, I would pack my bags and leave Tehran. It will be hit hard for a long time. So what is Trump talking about? They're willing to talk mediation. Israel's security thing said no way. It's not happening. So what is he talking about? It just got released. Maybe they heard wind of it and they had to release that statement. There's no word coming from me. There's no talking going on. What the hell is he talking about? He's listening to Putin, what Putin had to say? That shit makes no sense. All right, they just talked about the sirens near the Gaza Strip with the rockets. It's under review. It might have been a false alarm. So the Israelis are saying one thing. Our president is saying something totally different. Because he always says that. We're going to make a deal. We're going to make a deal. Let's make a deal. It's like, what was the guy that hosted Let's Make a Deal? Breaking. What is this? I can confirm that in Basij, Iran's paramilitary volunteers had been deployed in checkpoints in Tehran and other large cities. Paramilitary volunteers, so they're calling up the reserves. Iran is calling up the reserves to protect and guard Tehran and other big cities. They're in trouble. If they're calling up the reserves, voluntary reserves, that's a bad sign for Iran. What was that guy's name? United Nations is a joke. United Nations is a joke. Because you have the powers in the Security Council that can veto. If it's not China and Russia, it's the United States and the UK, France, Germany. So that nothing ever gets resolved. The UN is a joke. Forget about the UN. It's a joke. Forget about the UN. They're a paper garbage. Now, I won't even call them a paper tiger because they're not even a tiger. They're paper garbage. Okay, so there's no new things coming in. So, because I gotta relax and get ready to work a show. Anyone ever read? I never read that, but I've heard of that. I've never read it though. So let's ask this question. Forget about Putin. I don't know what Putin has on him. Why does he always like bow down to Putin? Oh, I had a long call yesterday. The ABC News article ABC News did an interview with him this morning. Well, I talked to Putin yesterday, and we had a long discussion about what's going on in Israel. We didn't really talk about his situation, meaning Russia, Ukraine, because Putin won't talk to him about that, because Putin's saying, go fuck yourself. So there was no talk on that. But Putin said he would get involved as a mediator between Israel and Iran, and I'm okay with that. I'm like, what? What is it with Putin? And that's the problem. That's what I'm concerned about Iran. And I said this earlier. You could try to take out the Ayatollah. You could try to take out the hegemony, the theocracy government. You could try to do that. But you still have the military, the IRGC. Iran can easily become a militarized state. Easily. Remove all the leadership, you still have to deal with the IRGC. And they are not going to relinquish power without a fight. And the people obviously cannot fight and rise up against the military branch unless you decimate them and take them out. It would be curious to see how many volunteers, now that they're saying that they're calling up paramilitary volunteers in Iran, how many actually do show up. If not, they'd probably be arrested or worse, or their families will be threatened. It'd be interesting to see how that plays out. No? You know, it's crazy. Because you remember, amongst the other things he mentioned when he was campaigning, he would not start a war. He was proud of the fact that he never started a war. And he would not get the United States involved in any wars. So he's sticking to that, like, really big time. Monty Hall. Yes, it was Monty Hall that did Let's Make a Deal. Thank you, Dwayne. And what's up, Dwayne? Happy Father's Day, by the way, to everybody out there. Yeah, he's like Monty Hall. Let's make a deal. But it's kind of bizarre, the things he was saying during that interview. Like, well, we're not involved yet, but I can intervene. I, not we. Not the United States as a country, we. But we, the United States, could, no. But I wish I could bring that article up. Let me see if I can pull it up on the computer. It's always I. You know, when it comes to him, it's I. Not the United States, but I. As the great leader of our country. As the president, I. Do you know that we officially have to go through Congress for the War Act to get permission from Congress to actually engage in a war? It's not just an executive decision. And they criticize Biden and others for the same thing. You just can't walk us into a war. You got to get congressional approval. That's just a little technical thing. But besides that, because it's funny, like I said, hypocrisy's a bitch. It's so funny how one side can say something about somebody else, but when it comes to their person, they're quiet crickets. Because it's hypocrisy. It's just insane. Okay, here we go. I found the article. We're going to get quotes. Don't take my word. This is from ABC News, interviewed this morning with our president. He's got his marbles on his head, unlike Biden president. Okay? I'm going to read the article. President Donald Trump said Sunday that the U.S. is not involved in Israel's military strikes, but it's possible we could get involved. In an interview with ABC's News' Rachel Scott, Trump said he's open to Russian President Vladimir Putin serving as mediator in the conflict, something he said the Russian president pitched in their phone call on Saturday. Now, here are the highlights from the interview. I'm going to share it on the screen. Don't take my word for it. His quotes. And if this is not eyebrow raising, on Israel's latest attack on Iran, I think they were very devastating. It was very devastating. They were hit also. Jesus Christ. But it was a very devastating it was a very devastating into Iran primarily. That doesn't even make sense. On a deadline
Are you looking at the
for Iran to come to the negotiation table, here's the funny part. No, there's no deadline. Bullshit. He made a 60-day deadline that they needed to come to the table and make a deal. So that's an outright lie. But they are talking. No, they're not. They'd like to make a deal. No, they don't. They're talking. No, they're not. They continue to talk. You think so? He said something like this had to happen because I think even from both sides, really, this had to happen? You think both sides wanted this? Really, it had to happen? But something like this had to happen. They want to talk and they will be talking. What delusional place is he coming from with that? What is he drinking? He never drank. What is going on with that? What in God's name is that about? Asked again about the talks being called off, the president said he's confident it may help the deal. What deal? May have forced the deal to go quicker, actually. What deal to go quicker, actually? What is he talking about? I mean, this is a person that it doesn't have Biden syndrome, losing their marbles. This is worse. This isn't people are saying that Biden's lost his mind, he's suffering from dementia and all that. Are you kidding me? What? And then will the U.S. get more involved in the conflict? We're not involved in it. It's possible we could get involved, but we're not at this moment involved. Putin as a mediator in the conflict. Yeah, I would be open to it. He is ready. He called me about it. We had a long talk about it. We talk about this more than his situation. What the fuck is his situation? His situation with Ukraine? This is something I believe is going to get resolved. By who? Putin or you? What? Those are his quotes. Does that sound like a rational person talking to you? Or a person with dementia talking to you? Or both? Or worse, he's sane and this is what he thinks. Which is scarier. We're going to let Putin become the media. I'm okay with it. I'm going to let him solve this. Would the United States ever do this kind of shit in the past? Our president looks weak. They talked about Biden being a weak president. He looks super weak. And that's why I'll say again for the 50th time, China is observing this.
Oh, yeah. Woo.
And China, oh, Biden, they're going to take Taiwan under Biden. They're going to take Taiwan under you. Because you're Mr. No Wars. You're all words, no action. Mr. Taco Man. They're going to take Taiwan and they know you're not going to do nothing about it because you don't want to start a war. Maybe we'll run to Putin to see if we could stop China from taking Taiwan.
That guy's a sick one in China. Woo. Just like Trump, a motherfucking sick bitch.
Is this not scary? And I used to hear all the rhetoric about Biden. Where's the rhetoric about Trump? Crickets. Quiet. Scary quiet. Isn't it sad? And yes, more than 50% elected him. Fact. I wonder if the vote took place today, what would happen? Would it be the same thing? Only 6 months after? Of course, the MAGAs would. But would the independents, like me, or other people, and Mom knows this, Hispanic men, and this is not a stereotype, Hispanic men like to control their women. It wasn't a surprise that Hispanic men wouldn't vote for a female president. Let's be real. Right, Ma? She's not commenting. Aren't Hispanic men like controlling and dominating with their women? Like to control them? Answer the question. I'm putting you on the spot right now.
Who?
You.
Oh no, because you know what? No Spanish man was gonna tell me what to do.
Not you, because you're a firecracker. But in general, don't they like to take control? Look at my uncle Antulio with your sister Naning.
Yeah, sure. But what I'm saying, not with me. I marry a man.
That's not a stereotype.
And if
You think you think Hispanic people want a male wants to vote for a female president? That was a big part of it.
this year, it's like, I wish I was a man.
Mom don't take shit from nobody. She don't take shit from me. She don't take shit from nobody.
I wish I was right now a man. I would go there.
You hear her? She won't take shit from nobody. Don't matter what they.
Goddamn fight.
She's an independent person.
Nah,
But I've seen it in my family a lot
tell you.
on how the men controlled the household and the women were expected to cook dinner and had a role in the household. It's the old ways of thinking. It's not so much the newer ways of thinking, independent. But the old school guard thinks this way. I don't know about the newer school guard,
Well, right now,
but the older ones do.
if my parents,
Think about it.
if my parents were alive, they
And I'm not stating false opinions. This is yeah, I did lit my mom's fuse, Dwayne. She won't stop now. Let me read what's going on in this chat. Maybe POTUS could offer to buy Taiwan. Do you know what the talk is in Do you know what the talk in Puerto Rico is right now? It's only a very small percentage. They want to go back to Spain. Look that one up. Puerto Rico's, there's a very small percentage. It's less than 20%. But there's already talk that they want to go back and become a property of Spain. Can you imagine that? Let's see. Russia and China swapped land recently. China needed a new naval base north of Japan. There's an article with some otherwise rational thinkers. Gender politics. Yeah. It's sad, but it's a fact. It's part of reality. Yes, Mom. What's the question?
What? Last night, remember, it was dark. Look at all the buildings all back there.
Yeah, I'm showing the live
They all lit up.
Tel Aviv
They all lit up.
camera on my big TV because I'm waiting for the alerts. God forbid. But it's still light, obviously, in Israel right now. That's why I said by 3 p.m. my time, 12 noon Pacific, pay attention to what goes on in Israel because Iran is going to launch more tonight. If they have the capacity to do so, they will.
I don't know, man.
That's why I have the TV on. But I got to do a show in less than 3 hours. Mr. Producer has to go to work.
I have to.
Yeah.
If I was a man, I don't care.
Yeah, it's actually, that's something that is true. I'm not talking like bullshit. I hate talking bullshit, like making up stuff. I don't like to do that. A lot of people like to do that just to get clickbait and like make things exaggerated and get excited about stuff and rile up bases. Yeah, either way, they like to do that just to.
Last night, look at that.
I don't know why.
Horrible. Look at all the lights.
All right, Mom, I'm doing something.
But look, all the buildings are lit up. You can see it from there, baby.
I know, Ma.
And I see red too, like fire.
It's good to be responsible. At least as responsible as you could possibly be.
I prefer to be in the jungle right now with all the animals because over here these are the worst animals, humans.
See, look at the screen. I'm going to show it to you. And I'm going to get off soon because I have to do stuff. Look. While the mainstream debate on Puerto Rico's political status oscillates between annexation to the United States and independence, there is a small minority that wants the Caribbean island to return to Spanish rule. Championed by the organization Adelante Reunificacionistas. The organization, created in 2017 and made up of only 36 people, participated in the debate of the UN Special Committee on Decolonization for the first time last week. We believe that Puerto Rico's case before Spain is a decolonizing alternative to the colonial situation of Puerto Rico, which is currently an unincorporated United States territory. So this is starting to grow a little bit. Believe it or not, this is not phony. This is actually something that's starting to stir up in Puerto Rico. Because they don't want to be throwing paper towels to them. God forbid they get hit by a hurricane in the next 3.5 years. God forbid.
Well, look at Florida.
There ain't going to be no federal money to them. There ain't going to be no help to Puerto Rico. Let's be real.
Oh, sure.
Puerto Rico's on their own. And all these Puerto Ricans that voted, you better think about this. I'm Puerto Rican. Well, I'm really Spaniard, but that's a long story.
I will give.
You have family in Puerto Rico? You better be helping them now to prepare for hurricane season. You better have assets in place so if they need to just leave their homes and come to the United States, because they don't need a visa, they can come in.
They're citizens. They can go anywhere.
You better start making plans because you ain't going to get no help on that island by the federal government. You could forget about that. You could forget about that. So start thinking about that. All the Puerto Ricans out there that voted for the current administration and you have family in Puerto Rico, you better be thinking about your family in Puerto Rico because he's not going to help them. Maybe he'll send some shipments of Charmin paper towels and toilet paper, but that's about all you're going to get.
He was making fun of it.
That was so disgusting. Some people laughed at that. They thought it was funny. What the fuck are you going to do with a paper towel?
Out of him. That's what they wanted to.
This is where we're at. And like I said, I am the savior of LA, California. He can't stand California. If California, God forbid, was hit by an earthquake today that caused devastation, damage, forget about the loss of life, you think he's going to come in and send federal money and aid to California? Do you? Do you? Or any place on the West Coast that could have a major earthquake? You think Washington? Oregon?
Oh my God! Excuse me. Now it looks like New York.
Do you?
Manhattan. Look at it. All lit up. Last night-
Mom, I know. It's still daylight there. You said that already. Do you honestly think?
All over like nothing happened. Look at the building that they were in. Right there.
I mean, these are questions people have to ask themselves. Honestly. Honestly. What about this? April 23rd. California is now the 4th largest economy in the world. They overtook Japan as the 4th largest economy from the International Monetary Fund. Fact. Not fiction. Fact. So, really? And the U.S. Bureau of Economic Analysis, they'll probably eliminate this agency so you don't know about this soon. Soon to be removed. You know that. You know that. It's going to go bye-bye. This will be disappearing soon. So, and you can see the states, the blue ones. And who do you think puts, Texas does well. These are smaller states. Florida puts a lot into, you got to look at those numbers too, by the way. How much does each state put into the federal pot and what states take the most from the federal government. Red states take the most out of the federal government. Blue states do not. Blue states put into the pot. There are exceptions like Texas, Florida, a few other red states. The majority take from the Fed money. By the blue states who are putting their surplus money into the Fed. Fact. But yet you hear them all scream. Who do you think collects Medicaid and SNAP? A lot of people in red states. You're going to hurt a lot of people. You're not just targeting Democrats. You're targeting a lot of people from across the aisle. Yes, take away the data, make it invisible so nobody knows what the hell the truth is. It's slowly happening across the board in so many different areas. This is like a revenge tour.
Jealous.
It's a revenge tour. Anybody, this is so petty and so scary serious. And I don't know if people are realizing it. I just don't.
Some people are stupid, that's what it is. They could be, look-wise smart, but brain stupid.
No, it's not. They're ignorant.
It's stupid.
They're ignorant because they want to ignore the truth, Ma.
That's what it is. If you are a smart person, you will see the difference, everything. Okay? But they are stupid. Stupid. Maybe lazy in their life that they never wanted to work. I don't know. But they're stupid.
That's another thing that has to stop too. That has to stop. People that are able to work and not working and collecting. That is a definite problem. That is true. There is no doubt about that. And they're using the system. That is definitely, that is fraud. That has to stop. But that's the obvious. That's been going on forever.
Yeah, but that's been going on for years. Lucky that I worked all my life, you know. I mean, but if you know, it's just the love for you. It's people that
And you can see who they're targeting. Here, this is welfare recipients by state, 2025. Okay? 2025.
yeah, but
SNAP recipients, food stamps. In January 2025, California. Texas. Texas is red. There's going to be a lot of Texans that are going to... Florida's number 3. Red.
Florida,
New York is up there, of course. New York City, especially. Pennsylvania, Illinois, Georgia, Michigan, North Carolina. I see a lot of red states here. Ohio, Massachusetts, Washington, Arizona, New Jersey, Louisiana. Those are the people you're going to hurt. And there are red states in there.
and they're human beings. And they have kids, they have families.
I mean, I'm actually surprised that Texas and Florida are that high. California has a major population. You got to also look at the population numbers of each state. Like per capita, that might be a better way to look at that. Per capita, the numbers of the people that are in those states. Because the numbers you might say, wow, that's a lot of people. But how many people live in that state? New York has 20 million. How many does California have? How much does Florida have? How much does Texas have? How much does Ohio and all those other states? Per capita. Meaning 1 out of every 1,000, you know, like the numbers broken down. It's going to affect a lot of people from both sides, red, blue. The cuts that they're planning to pass. I forgot about the health benefits. So that's why some Republican
I see
representatives are pulling back from it because they know it's going to hurt their constituents.
Like the moon.
They know. They know that it's going to hurt their own constituents, their own districts, by doing something like this. And they're looking at 2026, the midterms. It's political. Everything's political. Or money, either one.
Money.
But those are the numbers. Hi, Dagger. But we've been talking about mostly Israel and Iran, Dagger. But I need to get the heck off because I've got to go get ready for work and keep an eye on what's going on
But you see all the lights.
in the Middle East. Let's see if there's any new stuff coming out on Telegram first. But they're removing the data so nobody knows what is going on. They don't want you to see the stats. They don't want you to see the statistics. Like I always say, they make it sound like crime is crazy in New York City. Look at the crime rate released over the years by the NYPD. They're nothing as they were under Giuliani.
No.
Fact. Even though Giuliani was known as like the crime czar, and he did bring crime down, but the numbers now are still lower than they were when Giuliani was mayor. But you would think crime is at its all-time high.
When Julie
False.
Giuliani was mayor, they used
Absolutely false.
all the rich people used to
Go to NYPD.com and you'll see.
I deliver the mail for
Mom,
Giuliani.
I can't talk, and you're talking over me.
deliver the mail for
I
Giuliani.
understand. We understand that. Okay, let me
Giuliani
see.
didn't even think you met
Oh
the
shit, he sent me
people
another
he
file.
was like. I don't even know what
All right,
he's
Mom.
doing now. What a dummy.
Let me see.
He used to have the
All right, there's more coming in.
what a stupid Giuliani. Big mistake.
Okay, nothing new on that one. Let's try this one. Wow, look at the people leaving Tehran. They're fleeing Tehran. The people are fleeing Tehran right now. People are leaving the city.
You can't raise any kids in a place like that.
More and more flee.
خروجی تهرانه یعنی اتوبان تهران به سمت ساوه مردم دارن فرار
Wow, there's a lot of white cars.
یه مشت حکام بیشور
Wait, Mom, we're showing something.
به اسرائیل میخواستن نقشه بکشن بفرما خروجی تهرانه یعنی اتوبان تهران به سمت ساوه مردم دارن فرار میکنن یه مشت حکام بیشوری بریم به اسرائیل میخواستن نقشه بکشن بفرما خروجی تهران
They're fleeing Tehran.
I little God bless them and take care of them and protect them. My God. They have little
A truck, Iranian channels. A truck with a ballistic missile was abandoned in eastern Iran. A new friend abandoning positions for fear of being eliminated. Abandon it. Iran is collapsing.
see?
Now you might say this is propaganda. It possibly could be. Okay, now the other side has some stuff to say. Oh shit. This is a little scary. So this is what the other side is saying. This just came out. Netanyahu says Israel attacked Iran because Ayatollah Khamenei was planning to carry out another Holocaust on the Jewish people. And then this came out. Tomorrow, Iran time, in an urgent convention, the Iranian parliament will very likely vote to invoke Article 10 of the Non-Proliferation Treaty. which allows signatories to withdraw from the treaty in case of extraordinary circumstances or threats to a nation's most vital interests. So they're getting themselves out of the non-proliferation treaty, which means no oversight of nuclear weapons or ballistic missiles or anything else. They are really desperate now, and they're going to unleash anything they have. But they got to do it officially that they're withdrawing first. That's a little scary, what just came out.
Is it a scary looking at that?
That is scary. What are they up to? Could you imagine them using? Maybe they do have one. And they kept it secret and nobody knew about it, and they actually do have one? Now, if that happens, our president has to do something.
Yeah, Trump's gonna take a plane and go to Germany. Where he be going?
Not please. All right, so that's like the latest going on right now. So I would say this to everybody. If you're keeping an eye on what's going on in the Middle East, it is 7 hours ahead. It's 8:21 p.m. in Israel. It is getting dark. The sun has set. I'm looking on the screen right now because it's on my TV over there. And it is on my TV because I'm monitoring because I have the red alerts going on too. And there's mom sitting watching that. That is Tel Aviv right now. I'm keeping an eye because I have the red alert app on in the event something does happen. God forbid. And I know there's both sides to this, civilians on both sides, innocent victims. But if something happens in Israel tonight,
Please God.
and I pray to God nothing happens, but the reason I say this, if something happens in a significant way and we did nothing to prevent it, because we're just standing by letting things happen, oh boy. And it's not like Israel's not doing retaliatory strikes, because they are handing them a whipping. Israel is just decimating Iran right now. They are really all out.
They're checking in
And
Shiloh.
you see what they're doing in real time. I showed you a bunch of stuff. I'm reading to you what's going on. They're bombing airports. They took out in Tehran. Tehran is flooded with water, sewage. People are fleeing. But yet, our president says they're ready to talk. And I'm going to have Putin be the mediator. Do you see this? Who's in reality of the situation? It's obvious we're not. This is life and death for both sides over there. Literally. This isn't two children fighting in a schoolyard like he said about Russia and Ukraine.
Then one kid got killed.
This is like two kids. This is just like two kids fighting in a schoolyard.
Yeah.
This is not like two kids fighting in a schoolyard. And people make excuses for the things he says or laugh at it, think it's funny. This is the person in the most powerful position in the world talking like this. Does that not make you cringe? And I'm not saying this, oh, he's a Democrat. No, I'm saying this in a realistic point of view. This is what we're dealing with right now. The red alert, let me go get it on my phone. It's hard to show you what it looks like. I would have to go to the store.
They're going to no store.
Not that store. It looks like this on your app on iPhone or Android, it will look like this. It has that kind of it's hard to see with the lighting. That's the icon for it. It looks like that. So if you go to your app store, look for one that looks like that. This is the one that they use in Israel. This is the one they use in Israel. Let me go to the store. My Google Play Store. I think you just simply type in Red Alert Israel. No, yeah, there it is. Yeah, it's Red Alert. Just type in Red Alert Israel, and this is what it looks like. It's that Red Alert, and then it's written in Hebrew. See it? That's the one you want, right there. You'll see it's written in Hebrew as well. That's the one they use in Israel. And I have it active so that if anything comes up,
What's that?
that's Matt's plane. That means there's something incoming toward Israel. It could be drones,
That's a plane.
rocket fire, missiles. It's scary. Like the last few days, if you looked at, because I use Telegram as a major source of information, believe it or not. And you know what? It was so disgusting that one of the other side, I only got one telegram that comes from the other side. It was disgusting what they did yesterday. They put the pictures of 4 people that died and celebrated it.
Huh?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Disgusting. And they show people in Gaza celebrating. They took the video down though, celebrating the attacks on Israel. They were having a party.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ.
And this is the shit that they do.
Please,
And then they'll post pictures like this. This is the other side. They'll show pictures of Israel alerts like this from that app, showing that Israel's getting attacked. They're on red alerts everywhere, showing the whole country's red alert.
I was
Like
crying.
to brag about the whole country being
I was
red
crying.
alert.
I was crying. I'm not
And they do this often.
for this.
But it was disgusting what they did on this.
God has to do something.
It was
about
really disgusting
God
what
has
they
to do
did.
something about it.
And I'm not going to show the people's images because I don't even know if it's been publicly released, but they sure did.
No.
Disgusting.
Respect.
And I don't even know if they took it down, but this is absolutely disgusting. Celebrating the 4 Israelis that died and showed the whole family their pictures before it was even public. So it was almost like in real time. That is disgusting.
That's like a cult.
Yeah, right here. They put the pictures of 4 people.
No, baby.
And I won't read what they wrote.
I know, no.
That's disgusting. Celebrating death.
You're all gonna
And
go
posted the
down.
people's pictures. This is what the other side is doing on their Telegram feed.
I don't know if that
I mean, I can't even imagine. It wasn't even public. That's on Telegram. I have one Telegram feed that comes from the other side, the Iranian side, a supporter of Iran. Because I want to see what their angle is. I have to. To be objective, you have to do that. To see what the other side is saying.
right.
And to see something put out on Telegram like that, I don't care what side you're on, that is the lowest of low to do something like that and celebrate their death.
Because
That is low.
those people don't have feelings.
That is disgusting.
They're all people. And I don't know if they believe in God, and they do that like that, forget it. They're gonna be, God is gonna take care of them.
And they're all females. Beautiful pictures of them.
What? Dead?
And he took the one video down, thank God. I mean, at least he was responsible for one thing. Because I guess they didn't want to show them celebrating. He put a video, posted a video last night, of Gazans in some backyard having a big party,
Oh my God.
saying, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, celebrating, cheering, as you see the missiles hitting Israel.
But look at it, how bright it is now.
Now, I'm sure those people feel that way because they feel like somebody's doing something in our name. What's going on, and you can only imagine what they're going through too, the poor Palestinians
There's a girl.
in Gaza, because there's a lot of innocent civilians there too, and that place has been decimated, leveled, and they can't stand Israel. They hate Israel for what they've done to their territory, to their homes, to their families, to their neighbors, to their friends, to their themselves. And to see that coming into Israel and hitting Israel, they're like all excited. Because finally they're saying probably to themselves, well, now they know what it's like to feel like to get hit by missiles. And you can only imagine what's running through their minds. But to post it at such a sensitive time, after you put photos
The animals.
of 4 people, it's just not right. It's just not right.
I got sick when I stayed in that room last night.
So, like I said, it is screwed up. All right, that is a bug, because I see it. I saw a little thing floating. Is that an orb? It's a little mothy kind of thing going on back there. But anyway, happy Father's Day. I don't mean to be the depressing person that I've been talking about for the last few hours. But, just to keep up with what the hell is going on everywhere, overseas and here. Madness. I pray for peace. I pray for peace there and here, everywhere. Nobody wants to see this happening. I hope not. I hope people don't take pleasure out of seeing other people suffer and die. I would hope not. Because there's innocent people
Oh, they ran
that are
out
suffering.
because
But at the same time,
there's a guy up there that's watching us and see
You know.
bad things. They have to
Um, yeah, I don't watch the news. Like I said, there's a channel. I'm going to put his channel up on the screen. I've been watching him. And he's been amazing to watch what's going on in the Middle East. He's Persian. And he's located. His birthday was yesterday. I haven't been streaming because I've been watching him, and I've been watching Steve on Agenda Free TV, even though he gets kind of overly excited, like, breaking news, breaking news, breaking news. This is breaking news. Look, missiles incoming, interceptors. Oh, is that rockets coming in, or is that debris? He gets all excited. But, oh, he's live now. 2C's live. What's he saying? We can maybe hear him.
Of course,
oh my God,
they've
where's my
completely
headphones?
lost control over
What's 2C saying?
capital Esfahan is now being
This is the
hit
guy I've been watching.
right now. We've just received the confirmation. Ballistic missiles from Israel
Uh-oh.
is now hitting more IRGC sites. Of course, we'll keep you guys posted on this. As usual, my father, as you know, he's stuck in Tehran, being held by the IRGC. Unfortunately, he's not been able to evacuate the capital, but he is still alive and relatively safe, I guess. But we'll find out what happens to my dad later on. Now, 14 nuclear scientists, IRGC members, have now been assassinated by Mossad agents on the ground.
I would suggest you people watch him. And I don't want to play too much. This is his channel on YouTube. He's Persian. I think he's in the UK. He's live right now, which is where I'm going to watch him now. I'm going to share my screen. Tousi, Tousi TV. He's live right now, breaking Tehran is falling as Israel destroys IRGC headquarters. He's live right now. If you want to know more about this coming from a Persian individual who is against the Iranian regime, I think he lives in the UK, and he puts it straight out there. I would definitely suggest you check out his stream. I've been watching him. He's been incredible. I can't share it because obviously I'll get in trouble. But I recommend, if you want to find out more coming from a Persian perspective, an individual, an Iranian, watch him. He's telling you and he's showing you videos. He's showing you everything that's going on in Iran because he has connections in Iran. He has family there. He has friends. And he's getting information coming in from Iran directly. So check him out and continue the great work that he's doing over there. All right, I'm going to get out because I got to do a show soon. And I'm going to keep an eye. God bless everybody. Be well, be blessed, be safe.
God bless all
And happy Father's Day.
and your family.
Try to enjoy the day. And I'll be back later on tonight. Unless this is out of control, I will not be back because I want to keep monitoring what's going on without streaming. Because I want to see what's going on and getting all the information that's coming in. Can't do that when I'm live. It's hard. All right, everyone. Be well, be blessed, be safe. Have a great rest of your Saturday, Sunday, Father's Day.